Chapter 1041. Everyone enjoyed the immortal banquet, chatting idly. Nam Huang Yunshi introduced many immortal emperors to Qin Wenyan, as well as many geniuses with extraordinary statuses. Qin Wenyan silently noted them down. Immortal emperors were existences that stood at the peak of the immortal realms. It was precisely this group of people that stood at the peak of authority. This was especially so for those immortal emperors who controlled vast territories. For example, the three ancient clans of the southern regions. One could say that they controlled the vast majority of the southern regions and had terrifying influence. Just a slight move from them would cause the entire southern regions to tremble. After the banquet, the beautiful middle-aged woman stood up and invited everyone to the southern Phoenix arena of the Nam Huang clan. After that, all the holy maidens and geniuses respectively stood up and headed over. In the inner regions of the southern Phoenix clan, there was an extremely spacious area. There were many Phoenix pavilions here, and among them, the largest one in the center was the most dazzling. Streams of light flowed around the Phoenix pavilion, resplendent and resplendent. There seemed to be a powerful formation inscribed on it, exuding a marvelous might. At this moment, all the geniuses arrived here. Beside each holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan, there were experts that they invited to help them. Beside Nam Huang Yunshi, Qin Wenyan, Jun Mingchen, and Purgatory stood there. In the surroundings of the southern Phoenix arena, many figures silently appeared. These were all old men from the various factions of the Nam Huang clan. They were all paying close attention to this battle. The Nam Huang clan was governed by the southern Phoenix matriarch, and although these holy maidens all had the blood of the southern Phoenix matriarch flowing in their veins, they were all from different factions of the Nam Huang clan. The holy maidens who could become the holy successor of the southern Phoenix matriarch might very well determine the potential of that faction. In the future, whoever ascended to the position of the southern Phoenix matriarch would be the ruler of the entire Nam Huang clan. Hence, every 100 years, a holy successor would be born. Let's go to the Phoenix arena. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wenyan and the other two. Immediately, they walked up to one of the 36 smaller southern Phoenix stages. Immediately, the shadow of a phoenix appeared on that southern Phoenix stage, surrounding the entire stage. One faction after another walked up to the southern Phoenix stage, and although the shadow of the phoenix was different in shape, its aura and size were all the same. Next, my Nam Huang clan will select 9 holy maidens to enter the ancestral lands. These 9 holy maidens will be from the 9 factions with the highest battle achievements. The holy maidens can participate in the battles, or they can invite their friends to assist them in battle. But remember, the holy maidens can borrow the power of the formations of the southern Phoenix stage to increase their combat prowess, allowing them to have a combat strength at the peak of the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. When the holy maidens participate in the battles, they must fight against their opponents at the same cultivation level. As for those who assist the holy maidens, they must fight with their own strength and are unable to borrow the power of the formations of the southern Phoenix stage. At this moment, that beautiful middle-aged woman walked up to the southern Phoenix stage and announced. Qin Wenyan glanced at Nam Huang Yunshi only to see her smiling back at him. "You are truly ruthless. You can borrow the power of the formations, but I can't. Even so, you still invited me. Look at them, the majority of them only invited 2nd level and 3rd level Immortal Foundation experts. There's even one who invited a 4th level Immortal Foundation expert. Are you not afraid that I'll drag your battle achievements down?" Qin Wenyan stared at Nam Huang Yunshi as he spoke. 4th level Immortal Foundation experts can enter the ancestral lands, but they won't be able to participate in this battle. As for 3rd level Immortal Foundation experts, I can borrow the power of the formations to deal with them. As for 1st level and 2nd level Immortal Foundation experts, I believe in your combat prowess. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled. Qin Wenyan nodded his head lightly. The holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan could borrow the power of the formations to unleash a combat strength at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. This meant that the battle would still depend on the holy maidens' combat prowess. The people invited here would be used as support in battle. Naturally, the stronger the person, the more useful they would be. As for after entering the ancestral lands, Qin Wenyan temporarily didn't know what he wanted them to do. But most probably, the main task was to protect the holy maidens. How many battles are there? Qin Wenyan asked. 36 battles. Each group has to fight 36 battles and they cannot repeat the same battle twice. For the 9 groups with the highest battle achievements, the holy maidens will be able to bring people into the ancestral lands, Nam Huang Yunxi replied. I'm sure everyone is clear about the rules. Nanfeng Aoshue, you will be the first to fight. After that, you will take turns to fight. The beautiful middle-aged woman spoke. After that, she soared up into the air, leaving the Phoenix Arena in the center to everyone. Nanfeng Aoshue stepped out and instantly landed on the arena. Her aura surged as the might of a third-level Immortal Foundation expert gushed forth, causing Qin Wenyan to sigh in admiration. Did she really break through to the third level of Immortal Foundation within 100 years of age? Nope. Nam Huang Yunxi shook her head. She stared at Qin Wenyan and continued, the Nam Huang clan will choose 36 holy maidens within 100 years. At the time of selection, some of the holy maidens have already reached adulthood before they were conferred the title of Holy Maiden. For the battles 100 years later, they naturally wouldn't be over 100 years old. There are also some who were conferred the title of Holy Maiden during this period of 100 years. When the 100-year deadline arrives, they still haven't stepped into the immortal realm and could only push it back 100 years to participate in the inheritance battle. Nanfeng Aoshue belongs to the former category, while I belong to the latter category. I was conferred the title of Holy Maiden during the middle period of the inheritance battle. If not, I would be the same as Nanfeng Aoshue, participating in the inheritance battle 100 years later. Wouldn't that be an even greater advantage? Qin Wenyan laughed. However, even if it's over 100 years later, being able to step into the third level of Immortal Foundation is already considered extremely outstanding, right? The Namhuang clan is an ancient clan with deep foundations. You can't use common sense to evaluate them. For those who stand at the peak, their cultivation speed would naturally be much faster compared to those in the outside world. If I manage to obtain the position of Holy Maiden, I'm afraid you'll have to work harder. If not, I'll leave you in the dust very quickly. Nam Huang Yunxi joked. Let's wait and see. Qin Wenyan didn't mind it as he laughed. Nanfeng Aoshue chose a faction of holy maidens, while the other holy maiden stepped out. She borrowed the blood of the ancient phoenix to activate the augmentation formation of the Phoenix Arena, allowing her to possess the aura of a third-level Immortal Foundation cultivator. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth as two fearsome phoenixes manifested in the air. Their phoenix immortal foundations flickered in and out of existence. The immortal foundation you established, is it a phoenix immortal foundation as well? Qin Wenyan asked Nam Huang Yunxi. Naturally, if one has sufficient strength, the holy maidens of our Nam Huang clan would all choose to establish a phoenix immortal foundation. But even if the Phoenix Immortal Foundation is of the same grade, the might of the Phoenix Immortal Foundation would naturally be different. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. The Immortal Foundation established by Immortal Foundation experts was formed by fusing all of their astral souls and constellations together, ultimately transforming into an Immortal Foundation. Relying on augmentation formations to increase one's strength is clearly a disadvantage. The Immortal Foundation of third-level Immortal Foundation experts would naturally be much stronger. Qin Wenyan silently mused as he watched the battle. Nanfeng Aoshue was like a true phoenix. With a lift of her hand, the shadow of a phoenix could be seen, containing a heaven-shaking might. The gigantic Phoenix Arena was enveloped by a protective screen of light, preventing the shockwaves from the battle from affecting the surroundings. Speed, strength, flames, immortal arts and innate techniques, Nanfeng Aoshue holds the absolute advantage. There's no doubt about it. Qin Wenyan knew that the victor of this battle would be decided in an instant. And as expected, not long after, Nanfeng Aoshue defeated her opponent, obtaining the first victory. After her battle ended, she spoke, "My friend still wants to continue fighting." "Okay." The beautiful middle-aged woman in the air nodded. After that, Zhongzhan stepped out. Zhongzhan was a golden heavenly warring condor, possessing the purest bloodline. His combat prowess was extremely high, and it was said that the defense of this purebred demonic beast was comparable to the divine bird, golden-winged roc. Zhongzhan walked up the Phoenix arena. Golden battle armor instantly appeared on his body as his golden eyes stared at the surroundings. Although he wanted to fight against the most outstanding geniuses, he temporarily suppressed his urge when he thought of Nanfeng Aoshue. After entering the ancestral lands, there was no need to fear that there wouldn't be a chance for him to fight. He had to first ensure that he would win all 36 battles before entering the ancestral lands. I think it's better for you guys. Zhongzhan's gaze landed on the holy maiden who was defeated by Nanfeng Aoshue earlier. His words caused the holy maiden to frown. She had invited 2 helpers and both of them were experts at the same level as her, at the second level of Immortal Foundation. But even so, it would be a little difficult for them to deal with Zhongzhan. I'll go. A genius beside the holy maiden walked out. He was a heavens chosen from a major power in the southern Phoenix Immortal City. His aura surged as he exuded terrifying might. However, at this moment, Zhongzhan's entire body radiated golden light as the might of his immortal foundation was unleashed to the extreme. Boom! Stepping out, he was like a bolt of golden lightning as he appeared before his opponent. Numerous terrifying golden heavenly warring condors appeared, intertwining with fearsome law energy. They were like an extremely powerful battle formation, crushing everything in its path. The countenance of his opponent changed. The might of his immortal foundation gushed forth, akin to the Milky Way in the 9 heavens. Silver-white light cascaded downwards, wanting to engulf his opponent's attack. Chi-chi! The golden heavenly warring condors transformed into a battle formation. Their sky-blotting wings directly slashed apart the silver-white light as they continued flying towards their opponent. Terrifying rumbling sounds rang out as the resplendent golden light shattered everything before slamming into his opponent, causing him to cough out blood. How violent! Everyone stared at Zhongzhan. Nanfeng Aoshue was originally very strong and her helpers were also powerful. She instantly obtained 2 victories. Rong Xiao, help me for the 3rd battle. Nanfeng Aoshue spoke to Rong Xiao. Rong Xiao nodded his head. After Zhongzhan retreated from the arena, he walked up and stared at the crowd. His cultivation base was at the 2nd level of Immortal Foundation and his combat prowess was extremely strong. His gaze landed on Namhuang Yunxi's side as he stared at Qin Wenin. Brother Qin from the eastern region, I wonder how strong you are? Are you willing to spar with me? If Brother Qin doesn't dare to, there's no harm in sending Holy Maiden Yunxi out. When the Holy Maiden fought, she had to fight with the same cultivation base as her opponent. But the helpers Namhuang Yunxi invited were all at the 1st level of Celestial Phenomenon. This caused many to feel bewildered. Did Namhuang Yunxi really intend to rely on her own strength to enter the ancestral lands? Although this battle mainly depended on the Holy Maiden herself, the helpers were still extremely important. Chapter 1042. For the battle today, although there were many 1st-level Immortal Foundation experts, the majority of them were at the 2nd level or even the 3rd level. This was naturally for the sake of victory. If Namhuang Yunxi insisted on participating in every battle, things would be extremely dangerous for her. Before this, I initially thought that Yunxi would be able to enter the ancestral lands. But now it seems that I've made a mistake. Nanfeng Aoshue stared at Namhuang Yunxi as she spoke. Namhuang Yunxi's talent wasn't bad and had established an extremely powerful Immortal Foundation. When she first broke through to Immortal Foundation, many elders in her clan were already looking up to her, hoping that she would be able to enter the ancestral lands and fight for the position of the holy successor. However, she still invited Qin Wendian to participate. Since Qin Wendian was the top ranker on the Immortal Ascension rankings in the City of Ancient Emperors, his strength and talent naturally wouldn't be weak. But after all, he had just broken through to Immortal Foundation, and it wasn't suitable for him to participate in this battle. These people were all geniuses of the southern domain with extraordinary combat prowess. It wouldn't be so easy for them to jump levels and fight against opponents. Senior brother, let me participate in this battle. Jun Mingchen was extremely excited. After he broke through to Immortal Foundation, he had always been in a state of cultivation and had yet to face a true battle. Now this was a chance for him. Since he stepped onto the Phoenix Arena, he could also be considered a part of the battle. Each holy maiden could only invite a maximum of 3 people to participate in a battle, and it just so happened that all 3 of them could participate. As long as they won, it would be considered a victory. Brother Qin, you know that you will lose for sure. Do you want others to lose in your place? Rong Xiao continued, provoking Qin Wenyan. After that, he turned his gaze to Purgatory and Nam Huang Yunxi as he smiled. Holy Maiden Yunxi, it doesn't seem wise for you to invite Brother Qin to participate in this battle. Mingchen, since this person wants to fight against me so badly, let me do it. There will be a chance for you to fight against him. Qin Wendian spoke to Jun Mingchen. Jun Mingchen nodded. Senior brother, you have to teach him how to be a proper person. Yes. Qin Wendian stepped out, landing on the Phoenix Arena. Brilliant light flashed as a light screen enveloped the platform. Rong Zhao's Immortal Foundation erupted forth as a phenomenon manifested in the sky. Law energy circulated in the air as the might of his Immortal Foundation gushed forth unceasingly. In an instant, Qin Wenyan only felt a terrifying immortal might enveloping him. What ability is this? Qin Wenyan stared at the constellation diagram formed by the law energy of the void. It actually transformed into numerous armored knights riding on heavenly horses. Each of them wielded a silvery white spear, exuding immortal might. Behind Rong Xiao, a gigantic night shadow also appeared. At this moment, Rong Xiao seemed to be riding on a warhorse as he soared into the sky. Kill! Rong Xiao coldly snorted. A moment later, a myriad of warhorses galloped forth, causing the air to tremble. Countless warhorses charged forth, aiming for Qin Wenyan. Their speed was as fast as lightning, able to engulf Qin Wenyan in an instant. Their terrifying spears and hooves were sufficient to crush Qin Wenyan into dust. These warhorses weren't ordinary warhorses. When their hooves galloped through the air, thunderous rumbling sounds could be heard. They were incomparably thick and fast, as well as powerful attacks. Qin Wenyan stepped out in the air, releasing his Immortal Foundation as a fearsome might gushed forth. This was none other than the might of his Immortal Foundation. At this instant, Rong Xiao felt his Immortal Foundation shuddering as a fearsome might bore down on him, like a heavy hammer slamming down on his Immortal Foundation. Qin Wendian punched out in the air. At the instant this punch blasted out, boundless runic light flowed within, transforming into fist light that could shatter space. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out as the warhorses were all destroyed, shattered by that resplendent fist light. Not bad. A voice rang out in Qin Wendian's ears. Rong Zhao's silhouette transformed into a beam of light as his silver spear pierced straight for Qin Wendian's throat. Qin Wendian's eyes couldn't even follow his movements. Qin Wendian lifted his palms and blasted out. However, he only saw a flash of white light as the silhouette of his opponent reappeared in another direction. He was still riding on a warhorse, and his speed was extremely fast, as though he wasn't real. Boom! His silhouette transformed into a white silhouette once more as the tens of thousands of warhorses galloped towards Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan furrowed his brows. His immortal sense gushed forth, and as the countless warhorses galloped over, he blasted out another attack. At the same time, his silhouette abruptly dodged to the side. A long spear brushed past his shoulder, transforming into a white silhouette as Rong Xiao appeared behind Qin Wenyan. Your attack isn't bad, but your speed is too slow. A first-level Immortal Foundation is still a first-level Immortal Foundation after all. The disparity in cultivation levels cannot be made up for. Even if you were the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings in the City of Ancient Emperors, it's useless. Rong Xiao spoke arrogantly. He was as carefree as ever as he continued, I won't play with you anymore. Boom. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wenyan took a step out as a terrifying formless might bore down on his immortal foundation, causing Rong Xiao to furrow his brows. After that, he saw an immortal light radiating from Qin Wenyan as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With a cold snort, Rong Xiao vanished from his location once more. Numerous silhouettes appeared before Qin Wenyan, whistling through the air with a speed so fast that it was hard to see with the naked eye. Qin Wenyan didn't even bother to look at them. He directly punched out, his fist gleaming with a black light as terrifying law energy circulated around it. With a thunderous boom, the crowd only saw a long spear shattering into pieces. Rong Xiao's body was directly flung through the air, slamming into the light screen of the Phoenix Arena as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. A second-level Immortal Foundation cultivator only has this much combat prowess? Aren't you a little too useless? Qin Wenyan continued walking forward. Rong Xiao's expression instantly turned ashen. Qin Wenyan's voice was simply too face-smacking. Who was playing with whom exactly? Earlier, he said that he didn't want to play with Qin Wenyan anymore and was sent flying by a single punch. In that instant earlier, he felt his immortal foundation being suppressed. Even the flow of his immortal energy wasn't as smooth as before. That space around him seemed to be sealed and he wanted to evade, but he couldn't move at all. He could only take it head-on and was injured by that tyrannical strike. However, how could Qin Wenyan, who was only at the first level of Immortal Foundation, be so powerful? You have lost, you can't even withstand a single strike. Qin Wenyan walked towards Rong Xiao. Boom! Rong Xiao directly released his Immortal Foundation. Instantly, the starry space changed as a heavenly horse appeared in the air. It had a pair of silver wings that blotted out the sun as boundless might bore down on Qin Wenyan. Rong Xiao slowly soared up into the air as he unleashed his strength to the extreme. Bzz! With a flap of his wings, a beam of white light shot out, shooting towards Qin Wenyan. It completely appeared in an instant, ignoring the distance between them. Such speed was so fast that no one would be able to react. Boom! Qin Wenyan's immortal foundation erupted with heaven-shaking might. His body was like a fiend god as terrifying runic light circulated around him. The terrifying spear in Rong Xiao's hand instantly descended, piercing into Qin Wenyan. However, at this instant, everyone saw an incomparably gigantic shadow of a Xuanwu divine turtle enveloping Qin Wenyan, possessing shocking defensive prowess. As the long spear slashed out, the shadow of the Xuanwu divine turtle exploded apart, landing on Qin Wenyan's fiend god physique. Everything happened as fast as lightning. Qin Wenyan stretched out his palm, directly grabbing onto Rong Xiao's body. A terrifying jet-black fist blasted out, causing rumbling sounds to echo out. The immortal light radiating from Rong Xiao was instantly shattered as his immortal foundation felt like it was about to shatter. Boom! Another terrifying fist strike. Rong Xiao screamed in agony as he coughed out fresh blood and collapsed onto the ground. The phenomenon in the sky dissipated as the resplendent light radiating from him vanished as well. When Qin Wenyan saw this scene, the might radiating from him also dissipated. He lowered his head and stared at Rong Xiao. A cultivation base at the second level of Immortal Foundation can't even break through my defense. You are courting a beating. After speaking, Qin Wenyan directly turned and walked down the Phoenix Arena. The eyes of everyone gleamed with sharpness as they stared at Qin Wenyan. This fellow's combat prowess was so strong. Seems like Nam Huang Yunxi invited him here because she understood his combat prowess. As for Rong Xiao, he was defeated so miserably. The gazes of the crowd were filled with pity. He who came here to help could be said to have lost a lot of face. Earlier when he was defeated, he shouldn't have continued to fight. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. Qin Wenyan returned to the side of Nam Huang Yunxi as he laughed in a low voice. In this case, Nanfeng Aoshue's camp had 1 defeat, 2 victories and 1 defeat. As for Nam Huang Yunxi's camp, they had 1 victory. Nanfeng Aoshue glanced at Qin Wenyan, her countenance cold. She was still thinking about whether they would be able to enter the ancestral lands with a complete victory. Who would have thought that her hopes would be shattered in the first round? And from the looks of Rong Xiao, It seemed like he wouldn't be able to participate in the subsequent battles. Rong Xiao stood up with great difficulty. Coldly, he glanced at Qin Wenyin before lowering his head and walking down the arena. His face had been completely thrown away. Trash like this still thinks he's infallible. Jun Mingchen mocked. This fellow still wanted to enter purgatory? Continue. The beautiful middle-aged woman in the air spoke. Next, it was time for Nanfeng Qingrua's camp to act. Nanfeng Qingrua chose 2 helpers. One of them was Jiang Ziyu. He was extremely powerful, while the other was also a genius with outstanding talent. Nanfeng Qingrua acted. She chose a holy maiden and defeated her opponent. After that, her 2 helpers also acted and both of them won. Qin Wendian paid close attention to Jiang Ziyu's battle. The Jiang clan and the Namhuang clan were 2 of the 3 supreme clans in the southern regions. Jiang Ziyu was the same as him. He was also the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings in the City of Ancient Emperors. Naturally, he wasn't an ordinary person. When he acted, the surging energy in his body was simply terrifying. With a single strike, he defeated his opponent without even being able to see through his true strength. This caused people to faintly feel that Jiang Ziyu was one of the most terrifying characters among these people. Even in the Jiang clan, he most probably had an extraordinary status and was a genius that was heavily nurtured. Qin Wentian's perception was extremely powerful, but he still couldn't see through this Jiang Ziyu. Was he really as mysterious as Namhuang Yunshi said? What abilities does the Jiang clan specialize in? Qin Wenyan transmitted his voice to Namhuang Yunshi. For such ancient clans in the immortal realms, they would all have their own specialties. For example, the Namhuang clan had the blood of the ancient phoenix, allowing them to undergo nirvanic rebirth. You can't see through them, right? The Jiang clan is extremely mysterious and they have many different cultivation techniques. But from what the Namhuang clan knows, the people of the Jiang clan all cultivate the Buddhist path. Namhuang Yunshi transmitted her voice over. Qin Wendian glanced at Jiang Ziyu. Jiang Ziyu was extraordinarily handsome and didn't seem like a Buddhist cultivator at all. Chapter 1043. The battles continued. Qin Wendian observed seriously. This group of people were all geniuses of the southern regions, and it was extremely rare for them to have such combat experience. From their combat prowess, one could deduce how strong the geniuses of the southern regions were. Qin Wendian discovered that one could determine the strength of a genius from the immortal foundation they established. For those who established a mortal-grade immortal foundation, they were the weakest. Even if they established a third-tier mortal-grade immortal foundation, the third tier was the weakest among these geniuses. Similarly, the number of people who established such a foundation was also the highest. Above that would be a fourth-tier king-grade immortal foundation. Qin Wenyan could sense that there were quite a few people who had this type of immortal foundation. As for fifth-tier king-grade immortal foundation, it was extremely rare for cultivators within the third level of immortal foundation to have one. As for Qin Wenyan, he had yet to see anyone with a fifth-tier king-grade immortal foundation. Jiang Ziyu was more mysterious and he couldn't tell. But if there were any fifth-tier king-grade immortal foundation here, Jiang Ziyu should be one of them. In terms of immortal foundation, it was clear that Qin Wenyan and the others around him were the highest. This determined that their cultivation on the path to immortality would be smoother compared to others, and their combat prowess would also be stronger. Who do you think would be able to enter the ancestral lands? After 2 rounds of battles, Namhuang Yunshi transmitted her voice to Qin Wenyan. Right now, they had already won 3 battles. Namhuang Yunshi won 2, while Qin Wenyan won 1. Yu, Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Qingrua, Nanfeng Xinga, Nanfeng Shihua, Nanfeng Yu, Nanfeng Yi, Nanfeng Ling, Nanfeng Qin. Qin Wendian replied. They have already established a king-grade immortal foundation, and their combat prowess is one of the stronger 9. Although there are still some who can stand shoulder to shoulder with them, the people they invited to help them are all stronger. Namhuang Yunshi's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wendian as she smiled. Your eyes are truly sharp. These 9 people are the most popular among this batch of participants, and all of them were selected by you without exception. After 2 rounds of battle, I can roughly see their strength, Qin Wendian said with a faint smile. The battle continued. At this moment, there was another person who challenged Nam Huang Yunqi's camp. This person was a helper of a certain holy maiden and had a cultivation base at the 2nd level of Immortal Foundation. Nam Huang Yunqi glanced at Qin Wenyan. She and Qin Wenyan had agreed that if the saintess challenged her, she would fight. If not, Qin Wenyan would decide who would fight. Mengchen, go ahead. Qin Wenyan smiled when he saw how eager Jun Mengchen was. All right. Jun Mengchen's silhouette flashed as he appeared on the Phoenix Arena. The expert opposite glanced at Jun Mengchen as he frowned and spoke with some unhappiness. Letting a nameless 1st-level Immortal Foundation cultivator accept my challenge? Are you looking down on me? Could it be that he has also obtained the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings before? Qin Wenyan was only at the 1st level of Immortal Foundation, but his fame had spread far and wide. He had killed the descendants of immortal emperors before and obtained the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. It was understandable that his combat prowess was strong. But who was this man now? He looked so young, perhaps even twice his age. Wasn't this a humiliation to him? If you want to fight, then let's fight. Why are you so long-winded? Are you sure you can win? Jun Mengchen was even more displeased. Was he looking down on him? That person flicked his sleeves and stared at Jun Mengchen. If I, Jun Mengchen, can't even defeat a nameless 1st-level Immortal Foundation character, how would I still have the face to stay in the Namhuang clan to aid the Holy Maiden in battle? Shameless boasting. Jun Mengchen roared in rage. With a loud roar, his aura erupted forth as the Southern Phoenix Arena transformed into a world of its own. Jun Mengchen's Immortal Foundation gushed forth as a world of its own appeared in the air. This world seemed so real, and its might swept out, enveloping his opponent within. Jun Mengchen was clad in armor, exuding an unparalleled aura, resembling a god of war. A terrifying immortal sense could be seen in the center of his brows as his spirit and energy surged to the extreme, transforming into a supreme battle will. His body exuded the aura of an emperor, and with a wave of his hand, the energy from the world of its own instantly gushed into his fist. It was like the fist of a king in chaotic times. The expression of that expert surnamed Jun Mengchen abruptly changed. When he felt the pressure from the world of its own, his expression changed unceasingly. He released the might of his Immortal Foundation, yet it felt as though he was being suppressed. The immortal energy in his body was unable to circulate smoothly. He was a level higher than Jun Mengchen, but his Immortal Foundation was actually being suppressed. This was simply unheard of. Jun Mengchen roared. He stepped out and instantly descended, punching out with his fist. Law energy transformed into a towering fist light that contained the might of a king, unexcelled in the world. The energy of the entire world trembled as the King of Chaos fist blasted out. That expert had a look of terror on his face. He couldn't even react. After he came to his senses, he frenziedly tried to resist, yet he discovered that Jun Mengchen's king might was able to suppress everything. Very swiftly, a thunderous boom rang out as that expert was flung through the air, heavily injured. After Mengchen entered immortality, his Immortal Foundation became perfect and underwent another transformation. The mysterious physique that shocked the entire Dongshengshan gate back then grew stronger and stronger. Qin Wenyan silently mused when he saw this scene. The eyes of the people in the surroundings flickered as they stared at Jun Mengchen. This was a nameless nobody? Are you even qualified to speak to me like this? Jun Mengchen glanced at the injured expert before turning and walking down the Phoenix Arena. From afar, the old men of the Namhuang clan exchanged mutual glances, as though they were conversing about something. Their eyes gleamed with a strange light. Seems like the people invited by Namhuang Yunqi aren't to be trifled with. Everyone mused. It was best for this group of people to avoid challenging them. Right now, they had already won all 4 battles. Most probably, one of the 9 inheritances would belong to them. Awesome! Qin Wenyan laughed as he praised Jun Mengchen when he walked down. Jun Mengchen laughed. This fellow is too weak. That injured expert who walked down the Phoenix Arena almost coughed out blood from anger when he heard this. No matter what, he was a genius of the Southern Domain. Now that he was being mocked by someone, everyone soon discovered that when he returned to the side of the Holy Maiden, he only spoke a few words before he left. Earlier, he had already said that if he couldn't even defeat Jun Mengchen, how would he have the face to remain in the Namhuang clan? And now, as expected, he left. The battles continued, and as the battles continued, the chances of victory were gradually pulled apart. And as expected, the 9 holy maidens that Qin Wenyan predicted all had a very high chance of victory, with almost no defeats at all. However, there was still one holy maiden whose faction was lagging behind. She was ranked 10th and had only lost a few battles. This holy maiden's name was Nanfeng Qiu. From Qin Wentian's perspective, she should be a holy maiden who established a king-grade immortal foundation. Also, among her 3 helpers, one of them was extremely powerful and had never lost a single battle. His strength might even be stronger than Nanfeng Qiu. Nanfeng Qiu's faction was able to catch up and was ranked 10th. His contribution was the greatest. At the end, Nanfeng Qiu even gave up on the other 2 helpers, only allowing that holy maiden to fight alongside her. But even so, she suffered a few defeats. This holy maiden's name was Du Han. According to Namhuang Yunxi, he was a disciple of an immortal emperor. However, he had never denied it. This immortal emperor was an unaffiliated cultivator and was extremely mysterious. There were people who said that Du Han might be his son, but Du Han had never mentioned this before. He roamed the Southern Domain and gained quite a bit of fame in the Immortal Foundation realm. After that, he met Nanfeng Qiu and fell in love with her. He had always been pursuing this holy maiden of the Namhuang clan, and if there were no accidents, Du Han might very well marry into the Namhuang clan. Qin Wenyan stared at this Du Han. Among the participants today, Du Han could be considered one of the more powerful ones. In fact, he could even surpass the vast majority of holy maidens. No wonder Namhuang Yunxi felt that he would marry into the Namhuang clan and marry Nanfeng Qiu. After a few more rounds of battles, some of the participants had already accumulated to 36 battles. Many holy maidens already knew that they had no more hope. Only Nanfeng Qiu still had hope. This was especially so after Du Han challenged Nanfeng Qing's faction, which had a record similar to theirs, and defeated her. With 1 win and 1 loss, Du Han managed to tie with Nanfeng Qiu. For the best battle, both factions chose the weaker holy maidens and won a battle. The final result was still a draw. The 36 battles ended. The top 10 factions all had extremely outstanding battle records. Qin Wentian's faction, which was at the first level of Immortal Foundation, actually won all their battles. However, they didn't clash with the other factions that were ranked higher. After all, this was just a selection battle. It was enough as long as they could enter the ancestral lands. There was no need for them to go all out. The battles after entering the ancestral lands were more important. Nanfeng Qiu, Nanfeng Qing, the results of your factions are the same. How about this? You don't need to choose those who are ranked lower than you to battle. Each of you can choose a faction that has to be ranked higher than you. If the victor isn't decided in a single battle, you can continue choosing your faction until a victor is decided. The beautiful middle-aged woman in the air spoke. Before this, Nanfeng Qiu and Nanfeng Qing had fought against each other. Nanfeng Qiu narrowly lost to Nanfeng Qing, but the person who helped Nanfeng Qiu was stronger than Nanfeng Qing. Hence, there was no longer any meaning for them to battle against each other. Okay, I will choose Nanfeng Ling's faction. I will fight myself. Nanfeng Qing spoke. I will choose Namhuang Yunxi's faction. Du Han will fight. Nanfeng Qiu spoke. Both of them had made their choice. Chapter 1044. Nanfeng Qing chose to join Nanfeng Ling's camp, but Nanfeng Ling would be the one to decide who would fight. Nanfeng Qing was the same as Nanfeng Ling. Both of them were holy maidens with high hopes of entering the ancestral lands. The two of them were roughly equal in strength, and their assistants were all extremely powerful as well. If you can enter the ancestors' land of inheritance, I'll fight you there. Nanfeng Ling stared at Nanfeng Qing as she spoke. She sent one of her helpers to fight against Nan Fengqing. That helper was extremely powerful and fought intensely against Nan Fengqing. But in the end he was still defeated by a slight disadvantage. Nan Fengqing was victorious. Next, it was Nan Fengqiu's camp. Nan Fengqiu was a holy maiden and her strength was weaker than Nan Fengqing. According to logic, she should give up her position and allow Nan Fengqing to enter the ancestral lands. However, her assistant was extremely powerful and hence, she wanted to fight for it. From this point of view, even if she entered the ancestral lands, she wouldn't have a share of the inheritance. Du Han. Nan Fengqiu stared at Du Han, still harboring a trace of hope. She didn't want to lose this battle. Even if she couldn't obtain the inheritance, she wanted to enter the ancestral lands to take a look. This was a rare opportunity and she would only have this one chance. If she missed it, there wouldn't be another. Entering the ancestral lands was the dream of every holy maiden. Don't worry, I won't lose. Du Han seriously spoke, staring at Nan Fengqiu. Nan Fengqiu nodded. The two of them glanced at each other. There was no need for words to be spoken. It wouldn't be bad if a couple could enter the ancestral lands. Sadly, Nan Fengqiu wants to step on us and enter. But even if we lose, they still want to continue fighting. Jun Mingchen spoke in a low voice. After all, Nan Fengqing had already won earlier and the remaining people weren't weak. Nam Huang Yunxi nodded lightly. Nan Fengqiu had already been defeated by Nan Fengqing. She shouldn't have entered the ancestral lands. Qin Wenin, I will leave Du Han to you. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. Right. Qin Wenin nodded his head lightly. This Du Han's strength wasn't bad. His yin-yang saber arts were extremely powerful and he was a dangerous character. Although he wasn't as mysterious and powerful as Jiang Ziyu, he could also be considered a powerful character. In addition, he should be a genius that established a king-grade immortal foundation. Qin Wenin and Du Han walked up the Phoenix Arena together. Instantly, the eyes of the crowd flickered as they tried to guess who would emerge victorious. Du Han's cultivation base was at the second level of Immortal Foundation while Qin Wenin was at the first level. Up until now, both of them had never been defeated before. In addition, from a certain perspective, Du Han's role in Nan Fengqiu's camp was even greater compared to Qin Wenin in Nam Huang Yunxi's camp. Without Du Han, Nan Fengqiu wouldn't have lasted until now and would have already been eliminated. But for Nam Huang Yunxi's camp, regardless of Nam Huang Yunxi or Jun Mingchen, neither of them had been defeated before. Du Han stood there and a sharp saber-like pressure bore down on Qin Wenin. His gaze was as sharp as his appearance, and his entire body exuded a dangerous aura. For this battle, I will win for sure. Du Han's words were as sharp as a blade. You are fighting for Nan Fengqiu, I can understand your conviction. But since she chose Nam Huang Yunxi, I will also protect the glory of Nam Huang Yunxi. I will treat this battle seriously, and this can be considered as my respect to you. Qin Wenin slowly spoke. From your tone, you sound very arrogant. Du Han spoke. Qin Wenin seemed to be saying that he had never gone all out in a battle before. He would treat this battle seriously, that was all. Make your move. Qin Wenin spoke. Right. Du Han replied. As the sound of his voice faded, a strange phenomenon appeared in this space. In the void, many terrifying sabers appeared. The sabers that stretched across the void refracted a terrifying chill. The sabers were divided into two different intents. One exuded an incomparably cold underworld intent, while the other exuded a fiery red intent. The two intents fused together, intertwining, transforming into a yin-yang saber light that exuded a terrifying aura. Du Han stretched out his hand, grasping his saber. In an instant, a terrifying saber light directly slashed down, aiming for Qin Wenin. Even before the saber light was unleashed, the saber intent had already descended, wanting to create chaos in this space. Qin Wentian's entire body glowed with immortal light as runic inscriptions shimmered, resembling a fiend god armor. His physique was unparalleled, and when the saber intent slashed into him, it actually felt as though the saber intent had slashed into an indestructible armor. Terrifying sizzling sounds rang out. Everyone already knew that Qin Wenyin had cultivated an extremely powerful body refinement art, causing his physique to be extremely terrifying, transforming into a fiend god body. Bzz. Du Han stepped out as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. In an instant, a supreme saber light slashed down, aiming for Qin Wentian's head. Such a powerful saber light was simply unimaginable. Du Han had yet to truly unleash his saber. Boom! Immortal light radiated from Qin Wentian as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. An even more resplendent halo enveloped him, circulating around Qin Wentian, causing everyone to feel that the current Qin Wentian was simply indestructible. That saber light slashed down, wanting to slice apart the heavens and earth. The sound of air being torn apart rang out, yet it had no way to break through Qin Wentian's defenses. Although its only saber intent, ordinary second-level immortal foundation experts wouldn't dare to block it. This man's immortal might is too powerful and his defenses are terrifying. The grade of his immortal foundation must be extremely high. Jiang Ziyu spoke in a low voice. Nanfeng Qingrua, who was beside him, smiled, glancing at Jiang Ziyu. Can his immortal foundation be higher than yours? Hard to say. Jiang Ziyu calmly replied, his words causing Nanfeng Qingrua's beautiful eyes to freeze. She cast a deep glance at Qin Wenyin before asking, if you were to act, how long would you need to defeat him? I don't know, he hasn't used his full strength yet. But if it's only the strength he displayed earlier, it's still insufficient. Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke. Nanfeng Qingrua smiled. With you helping me, I will definitely be able to obtain the position of holy successor. On the Phoenix Arena, Du Han's aura grew stronger and stronger. The saber light in his hands swept through the heavens and earth, exuding a fearsome immortal might. His saber manifested a yin-yang diagram, ice and fire fused together, one yin and one yang. The energy of the entire heavens and earth frenziedly fused into his saber, exuding an incomparably fearsome might. At the same time, a supreme sword chi gushed forth from Qin Wenyin as boundless sword might gushed forth from him. Both of them seemed to be enveloped by a gigantic screen of light, a screen of sword and saber light, exuding terrifying might. Du Han's saber moved, slashing out with a single slash, as light as a feather. Such a tyrannical saber art, yet the instant it was slashed out, it was so gentle and elegant. However, the might radiating from it caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. The yin-yang saber light swept through the entire space, enveloping everything. There was simply no way to evade. Such a saber art could only be blocked head-on. Qin Wenyin stabbed out with his finger. With a single strike, sword chi gushed forth, converging onto his finger, colliding with the incoming saber light. In an instant, the collision transformed into two waves of supreme might as two terrifying screens of light appeared. The yin-yang saber light was incomparably resplendent while Qin Wentian's sword light was tyrannical and direct, capable of annihilating everything. The sword might contained within that finger contained a heaven-shaking destructive might. Du Han's saber actually had no way to continue slashing down. The power of their immortal foundations frenziedly gushed into the saber and the sword finger. Two fearsome currents of energy gushed forth, and if it wasn't for the screen of light protecting the Phoenix Arena, the wind of destruction would have already ravaged this entire space, tearing the earth apart. Du Han coldly roared. His saber pressed down once more, wanting to slash out. Qin Wenyin took a step forward. A supreme light flowed to his fingertip as a fearsome destructive might pierced into the screen of light created by his opponent's yin-yang saber art. Break! Qin Wenyin spat out a single word. Instantly, the saber light expanded frenziedly, slashing out in all 8 directions, no longer condensing together. After killing Qin Wenyin, the momentum dissipated. Qin Wentian's finger slashed towards Du Han, breaking the saber formed from immortal energy. He stared at Qin Wenyin in a daze. I've lost. After a long time, Du Han spoke in a low voice. Your strength is already considered not bad. Qin Wenyin retracted his finger. As the victor, although he was advising Du Han, in the eyes of Du Han, It sounded more like mockery. Du Han had a self-mocking smile on his face. Your cultivation base is at the first level of Immortal Foundation, yet I was defeated by you. How is this not bad? After speaking, he directly turned and departed. Qin Wendian didn't say anything more. His words weren't fake. He established a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation, and the amplification of his immortal energy was terrifying. He could even suppress a king-grade immortal foundation. Qin Wendian returned and nodded his head to Nam Huang Yunshi. Nam Huang Yunshi's camp had advanced to the next round with a complete victory. Even if there was an extra battle, they would still be considered as a victory and would be able to enter the ancestral lands. Du Han walked to Nan Fengqiu and spoke, "I've disappointed you." Nan Fengqiu was indeed a little disappointed. She had always placed high hopes on the ancestral lands, wanting to enter. Yet she failed. Maybe I chose the wrong opponent. Although Nan Fengqiu was disappointed, she didn't blame Du Han. The fault didn't lie with Du Han. Her strength was inferior to Du Han, and if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have been able to reach this step. Before this, when the Holy Maiden acted, Nam Huang Yunshi acted, as well as those who helped her, Qin Wenyin or Jun Mengchen acted. She believed that given Du Han's strength, as long as he was a level higher, he would definitely be able to defeat either Qin Wenyin or Jun Mengchen. But evidently she was wrong. Alright, for those who failed, there's no need to be too disappointed. The Nam Huang clan only produces a holy successor once every 100 years. It's very normal for you to fail. You guys just need to work hard in your cultivation. If you can accumulate enough strength, you would still be able to become a peak expert of our Nam Huang clan in the future. The beautiful woman in the air persuaded. You guys can bring the geniuses to my Nam Huang clan for a tour. As for those from the other 9 camps, they can follow the elders to the ancestral lands of the Nam Huang clan. Everyone nodded. For those who failed, it was impossible for them to not be disappointed. They had lost the chance to enter the ancestral lands and would never know the situation inside. As for the victors, they were filled with anticipation. Numerous figures soared up into the air. These were all the elders of the Nam Huang clan who were spectating the battle. The people from the other 9 camps also soared up into the air, landing behind them. "Move out." An elder spoke in a low voice. A group of people flew out as the others followed after them. Nam Huang Yunshi's eyes gleamed with intense anticipation. The competition would only get more intense from now on. She wondered if she would be able to seize the position of the holy successor or not. Qin Wenyin was at the side. He could sense the anticipation and nervousness in Nam Huang Yunshi's eyes. Chapter 1045. The ancestral lands of the Nam Huang clan seem to be located in the deepest parts of the Nam Huang clan. The ancestral lands accompanied the Nam Huang clan as they grew up in the immortal realms, existing together with the Nam Huang clan. One could say that it was a supreme treasure of the Nam Huang clan, nurturing generations of holy maidens. Although only one of these holy maidens could become the Southern Phoenix matriarch, the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan would grow stronger as time passed. They were the core characters of the Nam Huang clan. Qin Wenyin and the others soared through the air, and after some time, they arrived at a valley guarded by experts. This place seemed to be a sealed space with a gigantic bronze gate. Upon seeing the arrival of the group, the guards opened the gate and a rumbling sound rang out as an ancient pathway appeared. "Let's enter." The elders of the Nam Huang clan who led the group here opened up a path for them. After that, the group of them stepped into the bronze gate. After Qin Wenyin entered, he discovered that there was a completely different world within. It was a gigantic mountain valley, and there were a few old women standing guard there. In front of the crowd, a bridge could be seen. This bridge led to an entrance ahead, and it seemed as though one could enter another dimension. Remember, you are not allowed to use immortal weapons in the ancestral lands. If a weapon is used, the owner of the weapon will be instantly killed. You must remember this. Nam Huang Yunshi reminded Qin Wendian and the 2 others. "All of us can enter. Why did you only invite me earlier but they all invited 2 or 3? Qin Wendian asked. "The quality of the protectors is not the quantity. How many elites are there in the entire southern region? Do you think the holy maidens of my Namhuang clan know all of them? It's already not bad to be able to invite some of them to protect us. As for ordinary geniuses, they are completely useless. What's the point of inviting them? Namhuang Yunshi continued. Also, because for us holy maidens, even the strongest among us would have a cultivation base at the 3rd level of immortal foundation. Hence, the ancestral land would suppress one's cultivation base. Those with a cultivation base higher than the 3rd level of immortal foundation would only be able to unleash the might of a 3rd level immortal foundation expert. Hence, it's not like what you think. Doesn't that mean that we have to invite peak-level immortal foundation experts? Qin Wenyin nodded his head lightly. The majority of these protectors were at the 2nd level of immortal foundation, with a few at the 3rd level. The one with the greatest threat should be one of Nanfeng Shinga's protectors. Namhuang Yunshi intentionally reminded him that this protector's name was Kong Yi and he was a descendant of an immortal emperor from the southern hell. He had established a king-grade immortal foundation and his combat prowess was extremely terrifying. Let's go. Everyone continued on their way, stepping onto the bridge. At the bottom of the bridge, they could see that the ground was actually scorching red, as though there was lava there. It was extremely terrifying, and the temperature was extremely high. They walked step by step towards the entrance of the ancestral land. The scorching heat blasted onto them, but although it was blocked by a mysterious barrier of light, Qin Wendian could still sense that this was a world of fire. Numerous figures flickered. There were already people rushing into the ancestral land. Let's go. Namhuang Yunshi spoke. After that, they increased their speed, directly passing through the barrier of light and entering the ancestral land. They stared at the scene before them as their hearts trembled slightly. Parasol trees. Qin Wendian stared at this space. This entire space was filled with blazing parasol trees, intertwining with each other. This was a world of parasol trees, and also a world of fire. The entire space was scorching red, incomparably hot. In just an instant, everyone felt as though their bodies were about to be incinerated. The leaves of these gigantic ancient parasol trees drifted down, dancing in the air, creating a wondrous scene that was incomparably beautiful. Each and every leaf was extremely large, resembling the feather of a phoenix. They were so beautiful. Rumble! The bloodline power in Namhuang Yunshi's body surged. Her entire body seemed to be engulfed in flames as the shadow of a phoenix appeared. Not only her, the other 8 holy maidens also did the same as Namhuang Yunshi. They stepped forward, staring at the descending parasol leaves. In their eyes, it was as though each and every leaf contained an ancient imprint that could be imprinted into their minds. A beam of light flashed. Namhuang Yunshi stared at that leaf. The mysterious energy contained within it required her to comprehend it. An instant later, Qin Wenyin saw that the parasol leaf transformed into a dazzling beam of fiery light, attaching itself onto Namhuang Yunshi. The other parasol leaves continued to dance in the air, as though they would never land on the ground. Namhuang Yunshi's silhouette flashed as she appeared beneath another leaf. Her immortal sense gushed in and was instantly attracted by it. I want the parasol leaves. At this moment, Nanfeng Aoshue spoke. Her protector, Zhong Zhan, and another expert instantly moved, wanting to seize the leaves of the parasol tree that were fluttering in the air. Everyone abruptly came to their senses. Their silhouettes flickered as they flew towards the parasol leaves. Qin Wendian also moved. A pair of resplendent wings appeared behind his back as he appeared before a parasol leaf. He stretched his hand out, wanting to use his immortal energy to grab it. However, he discovered that the parasol leaf was glowing with the resplendent light. His immortal energy couldn't envelop the leaf and he could only stretch his hand out to grab it. It was actually extremely heavy. His silhouette flickered as he moved towards another parasol leaf. When the 2 leaves neared each other, a terrifying repulsive force erupted forth, pushing Qin Wendian away. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. A single leaf actually contained such might? It seemed that only the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan would be able to unravel it. He had no choice but to place the parasol leaf beside Nam Huang Yunshi. He discovered that when the parasol leaf entered Nam Huang Yunshi's body, it wouldn't repel the other leaf she was comprehending. Is this an ability unique to the Nam Huang clan's bloodline? Qin Wentian spoke. Mengchen, Purgatory, go gather the parasol leaves and place them beside Nam Huang Yunshi. Let her slowly comprehend them. Right. The three of them acted at the same time, moving as fast as lightning. Numerous tree leaves appeared unceasingly in the area enveloped by Nanfeng Yunshi's immortal light. Her beautiful eyes stared at the tree leaves, and it seemed that she could only comprehend one at a time. After comprehending it, the tree leaf would float down and land on her, resembling a phoenix feather, enveloping her body. Everyone in this space acted, and their speed was incomparably fast. In just a short period of time, many parasol leaves appeared before the eyes of the 9 holy maidens. Their comprehension speed seemed to have slowed down. All of them were fully immersed in their comprehensions, and everything in the external world could only be left to their protectors. As the protectors frenziedly plundered the leaves, the number of parasol leaves in the air grew fewer and fewer. If this continued on, there wouldn't be any left very soon. At this moment, Purgatory and one of the protectors of Nanfeng Ling were both fighting for a parasol leaf. Purgatory grabbed it with her hand only to see her protector stabbing out with a finger. As that finger landed, the entire space transformed into a river of blood as a terrifying immortal might directly blasted into Purgatory's palm. Purgatory screamed in shock as blood flowed from her palm. She could only let go of the parasol leaf. Her protector stabbed out with another finger attack, forcing Purgatory to retreat. That protector snatched the parasol leaf away. Purgatory's expression turned cold as she glanced at that protector. She glanced at the surroundings and discovered that the best parasol leaf was already taken away. We need 81 parasol leaves. At this moment, Nanfeng Shunga spoke, causing the expressions of everyone to flicker. Qin Wenin glanced at Nanfeng Yunshi, as well as the parasol leaves in front of her. She was still lacking a little. As for the others, they were lacking a little as well. He discovered that the number of parasol leaves fluttering in the air was simply insufficient if each person needed 81. Unless they snatched it. But if they snatched it, there would definitely be people who didn't have enough. At this moment, everyone turned their gazes to the surroundings, their gazes filled with hostility. Clearly, they all knew that they needed to snatch the parasol leaves from each other. The problem was, who should they snatch it from? Everyone harbored evil intentions. Seems like it's better to have more people. Nam Huang Yunshi doesn't even know the exact situation in the ancestral lands? Qin Wentian silently mused. There were 3 of them, and the number of parasol leaves they collected could be considered to be the highest. You guys guard Nanfeng Aoshue. Zhongzhan spoke to the other 2 protectors. His entire body was clad in golden armor, exuding an unexcelled aura. Bzizi. Zhongzhan was like a bolt of lightning, rushing towards Nanfeng Qing's protector, preparing to snatch the parasol leaf. Nanfeng Qing's protector instantly acted, clashing against Zhongzhan. At this moment, Nanfeng Yi's protector also acted, rushing towards Nanfeng Qing's side. Evidently, he wanted to be the fisherman who could reap the benefits of the fisherman. Numerous figures flickered, instantly causing chaos to descend. Mengchen, you guard Nam Huang Yunshi. Purgatory, come with me. Qin Wentian spoke. He stepped out, directly moving towards Nanfeng Ling. Before this, Nanfeng Ling's protector snatched a parasol leaf from Purgatory's hands. At this moment, outside the ancestral lands, those elders stood there, staring ahead. Someone asked, who will become the holy successor this time around? I hope it will be Shunga. That lass's talent is good and she's very intelligent. Qingrua isn't bad as well. Her protector is a young lad from the Jiang clan. If she can recruit someone from the Jiang clan as a son-in-law, things would be interesting. Someone laughed. Yunshi might be young, but her potential is extremely high. The immortal foundation she established is of the highest quality. Don't forget about her. Look, the ancestral lands have opened. The parasol characters are floating in the air. These parasol leaves are the wings the phoenix ancestor bestowed to them. I wonder how many of them will be able to obtain them. These people discussed, all of them filled with anticipation. Chapter 1046. There were two protectors of the southern phoenix spirit. One was Ko Dao, the other was Tyrant Jiang. Both of them were at the second level of Immortal Foundation and had extremely powerful combat prowess. Ko Dao was none other than the person who acted against Purgatory earlier. Upon seeing Qin Wenyin and Purgatory rushing over, their eyes flashed with coldness. Ko Dao's skin was blood red, giving off a terrifying feeling. As for Tyrant Jiang, his body was burly and tyrannical, resembling a black pagoda. He was an extremely tyrannical character. You dare to kill your way here? Ko Dao coldly spoke. His entire body shone with a towering blood-colored light as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. This entire space seemed to have transformed into a sea of blood as the shadow of a terrifying blood demon manifested. Tyrant Jiang stepped out, causing the air to tremble. An ancient cauldron appeared, floating in the air, exuding boundless tyrannical might. He attacked you earlier. Purgatory, you deal with him. Qin Wenyin pointed to Ko Dao as he spoke to Purgatory. Right. Purgatory nodded, her eyes gleaming with coldness. After that, the two of them rushed towards their respective opponents as their auras gushed forth. Qin Wentian's entire body shone with resplendent runic light. His saint-grade immortal foundation granted him a perfect immortal physique, unparalleled in terms of physique. Qin Wentian's fleshly body was akin to an immortal-ranked weapon. For Immortal Foundation experts, it was extremely rare for them to have such a perfect and flawless physique like Qin Wenyin. Tyrant Jiang's body grew larger, resembling a gigantic god of spirits. Many runes flashed within the ancient cauldron as law energy gushed forth. Tyrant Jiang punched out as the runes from the ancient cauldron blasted towards Qin Wenyin, causing the entire space to tremble. Qin Wenyin blasted out with his fist. He was like a primordial ferocious beast, yet also like a supreme war god. His pitch-black fist smashed through the void, directly shattering the runes of the ancient cauldron. His fist could shatter the heavens and earth, no one could block it. Tyrant Jiang's expression flickered. He was extremely powerful, his fleshly body was terrifying and his attacks were powerful. Ordinary second-level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't even be able to block his attacks. His innate techniques were also extremely tyrannical. However, Qin Wentian's Immortal Foundation enveloped his body and didn't use any innate techniques. Qin Wenyin merely used his fleshly body to attack him. Boom! Only to see Qin Wentian stepping out. Tyrant Jiang only felt his Immortal Foundation rumbling as the flow of his immortal energy became sluggish, as though it was being suppressed by a powerful obstruction. His countenance kept changing as his Immortal Foundation appeared. A moment later, the shadow of a gigantic ancient cauldron fused with him, causing him to exude an even stronger aura. Qin Wenyin took another step forward as the rumbling sounds from the ancient cauldron grew even more intense. The runes floating within seemed to be on the verge of shattering, causing Tyrant Jiang to turn ashen as he stared at Qin Wenyin. His king-grade Immortal Foundation was incomparably sturdy and his immortal energy was tyrannical. However, the might radiating from Qin Wenyin actually suppressed his Immortal Foundation. You are no match for me. Get out of my way. Qin Wenyin took another step forward. With a thunderous boom, a terrifying destructive might bore down on his Immortal Foundation. The ancient runes crumbled unceasingly, but before they could bloom, they were already destroyed. Tyrant Jiang's heart trembled as he stared fixedly at Qin Wenyin. How could the Immortal Foundation of this young man be so powerful? When he established his Immortal Foundation, he transformed the law energy of his Immortal Foundation into a cauldron. His Immortal Foundation was like a cauldron, immensely powerful and indomitable. In that case, Qin Wenyin should have at least established a 5th-tier king-grade Immortal Foundation or even a saint-grade Immortal Foundation. However, in the Immortal Realms, was there really a first-level Immortal Foundation cultivator who could establish a saint-grade Immortal Foundation? This was completely illogical. It was something impossible. Southern Phoenix Ling invited me to protect her in battle. I can only be defeated, I cannot retreat. Tyrant Jiang coldly spoke, his voice booming like a bell. Even though he knew he would lose, he still wanted to fight. Fine, she will understand that you have already done your best. Qin Wentian spoke. The might of his immortal foundation gushed forth as he blasted out a gigantic palm imprint, capable of suppressing immortals and devils. Tyrant Jiang roared in rage as numerous gigantic ancient cauldrons flew out, transforming into towering ancient runes. However, when the palm imprint landed, all of them were destroyed. Qin Wentian's palms blasted out explosively, causing the entire space to tremble. Very soon, Tyrant Jiang couldn't endure it any longer and was flung through the air, suffering heavy injuries. Qin Wentian didn't show mercy. This was a sign of respect to Tyrant Jiang. He glanced at the battlefield beside him. Purgatory was currently fighting against her opponent. He walked towards Namhuang Yunshi and grabbed out with his hand, instantly grabbing a leaf. When he turned his head, he saw that there was someone who acted against Jun Mingchen earlier, wanting to plunder the parasol leaf beside Namhuang Yunshi. The person who acted was none other than Nanfeng Qing's protector, Nanfeng Aoshue and Nanfeng Yi. They suffered heavy losses and had no way to resist, hence they could only plunder the parasol leaf from Namhuang Yunshi. However, Jun Mingchen's strength was extremely tyrannical. He transformed into an emperor and every punch he punched out was like the king of chaos. His aura of an emperor engulfed the heavens and earth as he fought against his two opponents. Qin Wentian lifted his palm and slammed it towards Ko Dao. At the same time, he rushed out, grabbing a parasol leaf and returned to Namhuang Yunshi's side. That attack directly shattered Ko Dao's defense, and in addition to Purgatory's attack, Ko Dao was struck by Purgatory flames as he was flung through the air. Qin Wentian returned. Nanfeng Qing's protectors saw that the situation was far from good and wanted to flee. However, they only saw Qin Wentian directly intercepting them. His immortal foundation might gushed forth as he roared in rage. Instantly, a gigantic great rock manifested, sweeping through the air. A piercing sound rang out as one of his protectors was directly slashed apart, causing his countenance to turn pale. You guys are eliminated. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Demonic qi gushed forth from him as he unleashed his innate techniques. Numerous great rocks swept through the air while Jun Mingchen was still attacking. In the blink of an eye, two of his protectors were heavily injured. Qin Wentian placed the parasol leaf on Namhuang Yunshi's body. His silhouette flashed as he moved towards Jun Mingchen. He directly plucked a parasol leaf and shot it towards Nanfeng Qing. Jun Mingchen cooperated and caught it. At the same time, Purgatory also succeeded and was currently plundering the parasol leaf from Nanfeng Ling. When the others saw Nanfeng Qing and Nanfeng Ling's protectors losing their combat prowess, they also came over, plucking parasol leaves from the two holy maidens. Not too long after, the number of leaves around Nanfeng Yunshi had already exceeded 81. Brilliant light circulated around her as the leaves enveloped her, transforming into phoenix feathers that shone even more resplendently than before. However, at this moment, Nanfeng Qing's eyes abruptly opened. When she saw that the parasol leaves around her were almost completely plucked clean, her countenance grew incredibly ugly to behold. Purgatory, go back. Qin Wentian spoke. He and Purgatory both returned to the side of Namhuang Yunshi. Right now, there were over 90 parasol leaves around Namhuang Yunshi. She only needed to slowly comprehend them. Nanfeng Ling brought her protectors, Ko Dao and Tyrant Jiang, over to Qin Wentian's side. Terrifying flames radiated from her, scorching the air as her countenance grew incredibly ugly. Since the parasol leaves are already by Yunshi's side, it's best for Holy Maiden Ling to stop snatching them. Qin Wentian spoke. As long as I injure the two of you, wouldn't the parasol leaves around Yunshi be mine? Nanfeng Ling spoke. There should still be enough time now, right? Holy Maiden Ling, is there a need for this? Before this, your two protectors were already defeated and injured. Now that it's 3 against 3, you guys basically have no chance of victory. Why don't you find other opponents? Qin Wentian persuaded. Bizizi. A terrifying aura gushed forth from Nanfeng Ling. Her entire body was bathed in phoenix flames and the shadow of a phoenix could be seen on her back. She was extremely beautiful but her expression was extremely cold. She stared at Qin Wentian and the others. Leave this person to me. The two of you just need to help deal with the other two protectors. Right. Tyrant Jiang and Ko Dao nodded. It was true that Qin Wentian and the others weren't able to deal with him. They had no idea if Nanfeng Ling could defeat him or not. At this moment, Namhuang Yunxi's body glowed with a bright light as she comprehended another parasol leaf. The leaves transformed into feathers that covered her body. As the number of feathers increased, one could faintly see the outline of a phoenix's wings. This caused Nanfeng Ling's eyes to turn even colder. Namhuang Yunxi woke up at this moment. She glanced to the side only to hear Qin Wentian speaking with his back facing her. Focus on comprehending, leave this place to us. MHM, Namhuang Yunxi nodded. After that, she turned her gaze to another parasol leaf as her immortal sense seeped into it. She then closed her eyes. Let's end this quickly. Nanfeng Ling coldly spoke. She couldn't afford to wait any longer. If all these parasol leaves were comprehended by Namhuang Yunxi, it would be useless for her to snatch them. As the sound of her voice faded, Qin Wentian only saw an incomparably terrifying phoenix shadow grabbing at him. Its sharp claws contained a fearsome lacerating might. Qin Wentian's expression was calm. He lifted his hand and blasted out with a palm strike, shattering that terrifying might. The spirit of the southern phoenix descended. The phoenix phantom behind her flapped its wings and in an instant, a projection of an ancient phoenix manifested in the air. Flames of destruction erupted forth, enveloping Qin Wentian within. Qin Wentian's perfect body shone with resplendent runes as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With the shadow of the divine turtle enveloping him, the phoenix flames couldn't burn him. Nanfeng Ling stretched her hand out as a terrifying phoenix spear formed from phoenix flames appeared in the air. Resplendent flames coiled around the spear as a fearsome destructive might gushed forth from it. Immortal light radiated from the spear as law energy gushed forth, wanting to destroy everything. Qin Wentian waved his hand as an ancient halberd appeared in the air. This halberd was formed from the energy of his immortal foundation and gleamed with a black luster, exuding a fearsome destructive might. Bizizi. Nanfeng Ling acted. This attack of hers seemed to be able to penetrate through space as a fiery red mark appeared, exuding a destructive might that could penetrate through everything. Qin Wentian's ancient halberd slashed out at the same time, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. With a thunderous boom, the two forces collided together as the destructive might ravaged the surroundings. Bang! The spear shattered as terrifying flames incinerated this entire space. Qin Wentian's ancient halberd continued piercing forward. Nanfeng Ling's silhouette flickered as she instantly retreated far away, her cold eyes staring fixedly at Qin Wentian. I've already said that there's no need to fight. Holy Maiden Nanfeng Ling won't be able to seize the parasol leaves from Namhuang Yunxi. Qin Wentian domineeringly spoke. Jun Mingchen and Purgatory both held the advantage in their battle. This was especially so for Jun Mingchen. He had already injured the tyrannical tyrant river. This battle caused the spectators to be disappointed. The protector chosen by Namhuang Yunxi was extremely powerful and wasn't easy to deal with. Let's go. The Nanfeng Ling gave up on Qin Wentian's side. Namhuang Yunxi didn't have anyone to disturb her and continued to comprehend the parasol leaves. As the parasol leaves enveloped her body, Qin Wentian discovered that a pair of resplendent fiery phoenix wings gradually appeared behind her back, slowly fusing into Namhuang Yunxi's body, becoming a part of her. Chapter 1047. Qin Wentian stared at the other holy maidens. Out of the 9 holy maidens, only 6 of them had managed to comprehend all 81 parasol leaves. These 6 holy maidens were Nanfeng Qingrua, Nanfeng Xinga, Nanfeng Aoxue, Nanfeng Xihua, Nanfeng Yi, and Namhuang Yunxi. The protectors of the 6 holy maidens were also the 6 strongest groups. Only then would they be able to comprehend in peace and not be disturbed by others. Right now, they could only rely on their own comprehension abilities. Qin Wendian could see that the ones with the highest comprehension abilities were Namhuang Yunxi, Nanfeng Xinge, Nanfeng Qingrua, and Nanfeng Aoshue. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi were ranked second. From Qin Wentian's perspective, the one with the highest chance of becoming the holy successor would definitely be one of the top 4. They were also the 4 most popular among the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. Not only were they extremely powerful, their protectors were also extremely powerful. Naturally, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi weren't inferior as well, it was just that they were relatively stronger. Namhuang Yunxi and Nanfeng Xinge both comprehended all 81 parasol leaves at the same time. A terrifying aura gushed forth from the 2 of them as a raging wind gusted by. A pair of resplendent phoenix wings appeared behind their backs, completely fusing into their bodies. That terrifying pair of wings seemed to circulate with mystical runic light. The flowing light contained the sharpness of swords and sabers, as well as a terrifying scorching heat, giving off an intense sense of power and beauty. How beautiful! If I didn't know that they are humans, I would have thought that their true form is that of a saint beast, a phoenix. Jun Mingchen mumbled. Namhuang Yunxi's wings were so natural, as though they belonged to her. Not only was there no disharmony, they were extremely beautiful instead. This kind of beauty was half holy, half seductive. There was an indescribable sense of beauty. Namhuang Yunxi opened her eyes as her wings fluttered, as though she was very familiar with this feeling. Her wings landed on Qin Wenin as a gentle smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. These phoenix wings were able to increase her strength. As expected of the ancestral ground of the Namhuang clan, it was truly a wondrous place. With a flap of her wings, numerous parasol leaves flew out, flying into the distance. The other 3 holy maidens didn't have any joy on their faces when they saw this scene. Nanfeng Yunxi and the other 2 holy maidens had already comprehended more than half of the parasol leaves and transformed them into phoenix wings. Even if they comprehended all the remaining leaves, it wouldn't be enough. They had no fate with these phoenix wings. Come up to my wings. Namhuang Yunxi spoke, her words causing Qin Wendian to stiffen. However, he only heard Namhuang Yunxi continuing, we want to enter the first level of the ancestral ground. Only those with phoenix wings would be able to enter. After you guys come up, hold onto my wings tightly and don't let go. I will bring you guys in. As the sound of her voice faded, Nanfeng Yunxi floated up into the air. Qin Wendian nodded his head, he didn't argue any further. The 3 of them directly flew to the back of Nanfeng Yunxi's beautiful phoenix wings, grabbing onto the feathers tightly, not letting go. The same scene happened over at Nanfeng Xinge's side as well. After that, Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Aoshue respectively comprehended phoenix wings. Beezing, a raging wind gusted as Namhuang Yunxi soared forward, resembling a fiery red bolt of lightning. Nanfeng Yunxi's eyes were beautiful to the extreme, as though there were flames burning within them. She stared at the illusory gate in front of her that transformed into the diagram of a phoenix. Her phoenix wings flapped madly as she flew towards it. Rumble! A terrifying energy blasted into Qin Wenin and the others. After that, they discovered that they had indeed arrived at the next level. Glancing behind them, they saw Nanfeng Ling and the other 2 holy maidens trying to ram their way through the spatial barrier. However, they were unable to do so at all. This was proof of Namhuang Yunxi's words. After that, another figure appeared. It was Nanfeng Xinge. She exchanged glances with Namhuang Yunxi while her protectors coldly glanced at Qin Wenin and the others. This was especially so for Kong Yi. His gaze was extremely sharp, and the might of a 3rd-level Immortal Foundation expert was extremely powerful. What's on those leaves? Qin Wendian stared ahead. This space was still as beautiful as ever. The ancient parasol tree's roots intertwined with each other, and the ground was littered with fallen leaves. Each and every leaf seemed to be imprinted with the glow of fire. Namhuang Yunxi stared at the leaves fluttering in the air. Qin Wendian and the others couldn't see it, but Nam Huang Yunshi could. This was the ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan. Life from death. Nanfeng Yunshi mumbled in a low voice. Her gaze stared ahead, and over there was a gigantic ancient parasol tree. In the middle of the towering ancient tree, there was a terrifying vortex that seemed to be a path of nirvanic rebirth. A terrifying aura gushed forth from it. From there, we can enter the next space. But on the path of nirvana, we have to seek life from death. Nam Huang Yunshi pointed in a direction as she spoke. Her silhouette floated forward as Qin Wenyin and the other two followed closely behind. At this moment, Nanfeng Qinghua also entered the space. Only the 3 holy maidens can enter. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled when he heard this. It felt like everything was already destined. In the first space, there were 3 people who didn't manage to forge their phoenix wings. And now, only 3 of them could enter. Until the last person became the holy successor, they would continue to temper themselves. Very swiftly, Qin Wenyin and the others arrived at the terrifying path of nirvana. An incomparably scorching aura gushed forth, causing Qin Wenyin to feel terror. But even so, Qin Wenyin saw Nam Huang Yunshi and Nanfeng Qinghua entering the path of nirvana with no hesitation. Their bodies were instantly engulfed in flames, but their footsteps were resolute as they continued forward. Kong Yi, help me guard the path of nirvana. Nanfeng Qinghua's voice rang out. Kong Yi nodded lightly. At this moment, Nanfeng Qinghua and the others walked over. She glanced at Qin Wenyin, Kong Yi and the others as she spoke. The path of nirvana can allow 3 people to walk side by side. Including me, there are 3 of us. Kong Yi and Qin Wenyin exchanged glances before stepping aside. Nanfeng Qinghua stepped into the path of nirvana. Her protector, Jiang Ziyu, also walked over, guarding the path of nirvana. They didn't speak to each other, they only stared ahead. Nanfeng Aoshue arrived, and when she saw the 3 of them entering the path of nirvana, her countenance turned extremely unsightly to behold. She had used too much time in the first space and missed the opportunity. However, she, Nanfeng Aoshue, was the strongest among the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan. How could she not have a spot? Step aside. Nanfeng Aoshue's protector, the golden condor Zhongzhan, stepped out as he spoke in a domineering tone. Kong Yi radiated a dazzling light as his 3rd-level immortal foundation aura circulated around him. How could he step aside? Although Jiang Ziyu was only at the 2nd level of immortal foundation, he was a disciple of the ancient Jiang clan and was extremely mysterious and powerful. Just a single glance from him would cause one to feel the sharpness of his aura. In addition, there was also a powerful protector at the 3rd level of immortal foundation beside him. One couldn't help but say that Nanfeng Qinghua's charm was extremely great. Both of her protectors were extremely powerful. Even Nanfeng Aoshue couldn't help but to frown when she saw this. Eventually, her gaze landed on Qin Wentian's group. There are 3 paths of nirvana and only 3 people can pass through it. Right now, the 3 of them have each occupied one of the paths. The others couldn't see it clearly, but Nanfeng Aoshue could. The 3 paths of nirvana in the vortex didn't interfere with each other, but there were only 3 of them. Right now, the 3 of them have already been engulfed by the blazing flames and entered the depths of the nirvana path. The path you guys are on, step aside. Zhongzhan instantly understood Nanfeng Aoshue's meaning. There was no need to offend all 3 paths of nirvana. They only needed to seize one of them. The 3 camps before them were all extremely powerful, but the weakest one was clearly the camp of Qin Wenyin and the other 2 first-level Immortal Foundation experts. Although Qin Wenyin and the other 2 had proven their combat prowess before, to the others, Qin Wenyin and the others, their cultivation bases were still a little weaker compared to the people here. Zhongzhan, the descendant of a demon emperor, Nanfeng Aoshue, the strongest among the holy maidens of this generation of the Nam Huang clan, with a cultivation base at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. Just the 2 of them alone were sufficient to suppress Qin Wentian's group. Bullying us? Jun Mingchen's eyes flashed with coldness, feeling somewhat unhappy. How infuriating, their cultivation bases were just a little lower. Did they think they were easy to bully? There were 3 paths of nirvana and they wanted to seize their path? There's no more time. Nanfeng Aoshue's aura instantly erupted forth. The might of a 3rd-level Immortal Foundation expert was extremely tyrannical, capable of suppressing everything. Her entire body was bathed in fiery light as her Phoenix Immortal Foundation manifested. She was also a King-grade Immortal Foundation expert, and in addition to her cultivation base, the halo of light around her was incomparably resplendent. Boom boom boom. Qin Wenyan, Jun Mingchen and Purgatory's auras instantly erupted forth. Other than Nanfeng Aoshue and Zhong Zhan, there were still 2 others. One of them was Rong Xiao, who was defeated by Qin Wenyan, and the other was a 2nd-level Immortal Foundation expert. They absolutely couldn't allow Nanfeng Aoshue to step onto the path of nirvana. Right now, it was unknown what Namhuang Yunxi was experiencing right now. Most probably she had already temporarily lost her combat prowess. Zhong Zhan domineeringly stepped out, blasting out with a single strike. A moment later, the golden condor swooped over, containing a terrifying attack power. Mingchen, you go. Qin Wenyan spoke. Jun Mingchen stepped out, carrying an entire world on his back. He punched out, causing chaos in the sky and earth, shattering everything. Nanfeng Aoshue stabbed out with a finger strike towards Qin Wenyan. Her attack was akin to a phoenix sword, containing a fearsome penetrative might. Qin Wenyan released the might of his perfect saint-grade Immortal Foundation. His body circulated with a dazzling light as the shadow of the divine turtle shone, enveloping him. Immortal energy coalesced into an ancient halberd as he slashed out with the speed of lightning, shattering Nanfeng Aoshue's attack. Rong Xiao and the other expert rushed out. Purgatory reverted back to her original form, guarding the entrance. The 2 of them rushed towards Nanfeng Aoshue at the same time. Scram! After Qin Wenyan destroyed Nanfeng Aoshue's attack, the ancient halberd in his hand shot out explosively, flying straight towards Rong Xiao. That ancient halberd contained a heaven-shaking destructive might as it slashed through the air. Rong Xiao's countenance drastically changed as he frantically tried to defend. However, a thunderous boom rang out as the ancient halberd slashed towards him. Rong Xiao frantically retreated, transforming into a phantom. Puchi! A wound appeared on Rong Xiao's body as he retreated far away. The destructive might ravaged his body, causing his countenance to turn pale. What was even more unbearable was the humiliation of being defeated. He actually couldn't even withstand a single strike. How dare you! Nanfeng Aoshue's face turned frosty when she saw Qin Wenyan splitting his attention to injure Rong Xiao. Her killing intent was extremely terrifying. Chapter 1048. Qin Wenyan stared at Nanfeng Aoshue as he coldly spoke, "You are even more insolent." As the sound of his voice faded, the might of his Immortal Foundation circulated frenziedly, fusing into his palms. Very swiftly, towering runic light circulated around his palms, exuding a terrifying might. Rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wenyan's body expanded in size. The might from his palms grew even more terrifying. Although the god's hand he cultivated wasn't the complete version, it was still a secret art of ancient Emperor Yi. Nanfeng Aoshue folded incantations with her hands as the flames around her towered up into the sky, incinerating everything. She was like a phoenix that had descended into the world. Around her, a fearsome sea of flames enveloped her as the shadow of numerous phoenixes appeared, revolving around her as they stared at Qin Wenyan. Their eyes gleamed with a demonic sharpness, terrifying to the extreme. Die! Nanfeng Aoshue blasted out with her ancient imprint. Instantly, the phantoms of numerous phoenixes lunged out, exuding a supreme might that wanted to tear this entire space apart. Qin Wenyan stared at the gigantic phantoms of phoenixes. His hands radiated boundless immortal might as destructive light circulated around them. He abruptly blasted out with his palms as the phantoms of great rocks appeared, exuding a fearsome might that towered up into the sky. It was like a true golden-winged rock had descended into the world, capable of annihilating everything. Bzz. A wave of heat directly gushed forth as Nanfeng Aoshue appeared before Qin Wenyin. Her phoenix wings swept out, slashing towards Qin Wenyin. Those fearsome phoenix wings were even sharper than the flaming swords. Qin Wenyin didn't retreat a single step. In fact, he even took a slight step forward as the might of his immortal foundation erupted forth frenziedly. His constellation flashed, transforming into a wondrous world. An ancient halberd appeared in the form of the god's hand as he stabbed out, directly piercing into the phoenix wings of his opponent. A fearsome destructive force gushed forth, wanting to pierce through the phoenix wings. Nanfeng Yu instantly retreated, hovering in the air as she flapped her wings. Her expression turned even colder. How powerful was the immortal might of a third-level immortal foundation cultivator? It wasn't something a first-level immortal foundation cultivator could compare to. However, her attacks were continuously blocked by Qin Wenyin. She had no way to break through his defense, unable to enter the ancient path of nirvana. At this moment, Qin Wenyin stood at the entrance of the ancient path. His physique was gigantic and both his palms transformed into God's hand. Behind him, a pair of rock wings could be seen. He resembled a heavenly god, a single man guarding the pass against 10,000 enemies. His eyes were extremely deep and terrifying, able to cause people to sink into a trance. At this moment, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi rushed over. The comprehension of these two holy maidens was slightly weaker, but they weren't slower by much. When they arrived at this space, they discovered that the other three ancient paths were already occupied. Their countenances instantly turned unsightly. Nanfeng Shihua, Nanfeng Yi, help me seize this ancient path. After that, I will get Zhong Zhan and the others to help you seize the other ancient paths. Nanfeng Aoshue transmitted her voice to Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi. She didn't directly say this because she wanted to prevent Qin Wenyin from joining forces with Jiang Ziyu and Kong Yi. If that happened, they would have no hope at all. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi frowned as expressions of contemplation appeared on their faces. However, Nanfeng Aoshue continued, there's not much time left. If you continue to consider, I'm afraid there wouldn't be any hope left. Let's cripple Qin Wenyin first. Send your assistants to deal with the other two holy maidens and use the fastest speed to make the assistants of Namhuang Yunxi lose their combat abilities. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng exchanged glances before they transmitted their voices to their assistants. After that, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi cooperated with Nanfeng Aoshue as they rushed towards Qin Wenyin from three different directions. This scene caused Qin Wenyan's expression to stiffen. Three holy maidens actually joined forces to seize the ancient path to nirvana? Bzz. Phoenix wings flapped as the three of them sped towards the ancient path with extreme speed. Many thoughts flashed through Qin Wenyan's mind. It was extremely difficult for him to deal with the three of them at the same time. Once one of them entered the ancient path to nirvana, it would be extremely disadvantageous to Namhuang Yunxi. Lifting his palm, Qin Wenyin blasted out a destructive palm imprint. However, the attacks of the three holy maidens arrived at the same time. Thunderous rumbling sounds reverberated through his arm as Qin Wenyin was forced back. He decisively borrowed the force of the impact and directly retreated into the depths of the ancient path to nirvana. At the same time, he spoke to Jun Mingchen and Purgatory. Mingchen, Purgatory, don't continue fighting. I will seal the ancient path to nirvana. Senior brother, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Jun Mingchen spoke in a clear voice as he violently clashed with Zhong Zhan. There was only a single path on the ancient path to nirvana. If Qin Wenyin retreated into it, he would be able to completely seal the entrance. The path was too narrow. It was impossible even if the three holy maidens joined forces to deal with him. They could only fight him head-on. The scorching flames engulfed the ancient path, forming a terrifying vortex. Qin Wenyin didn't dare to retreat too quickly. An instant later, he and the three holy maidens were all buried in the flames. Qin Wenyin halted and didn't continue retreating. He could already see Namhuang Yunxi and the other two holy maidens. Each of them occupied a narrow path at the end of the vortex. However, when Qin Wenyan saw the situation there, a hint of awkwardness flashed in his eyes. Nam Huang Yunxi was immersed in the vortex of the ancient path to nirvana. The phoenix flames burned her body, destroying her clothes. Her skin was like jade, flawless and flawless. She was like a painting of a supreme beauty. Only the phoenix wings on her back remained, piercing through her jade-white skin, adding a hint of demonic beauty to her beauty. Don't look at indecent things. Qin Wendian silently mused. Not only Nam Huang Yunxi, Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Xingge were also suffocatingly beautiful, causing the blood in the hearts of those who looked at them to boil. The terrifying flames unceasingly cleansed their bodies, wanting to reforge their perfect physiques. The phoenix flames fused into their bodies, making them even more powerful than before. You dare to profane the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan? You deserve death. Nanfeng Aoshue's entire body burned with terrifying rage when she saw this scene. Qin Wenyan stared at her. You guys are the ones who forced me to come here. Let's leave this place immediately. How could Nanfeng Aoshue leave? When she saw the 3 holy maidens undergoing the baptism, she felt even more anxious in her heart. She frenziedly unleashed the power of her immortal foundation, resembling a true ancient phoenix. Qin Wendian snorted. His body expanded once more, completely sealing off this path. In fact, even the vision of those in front of him was blocked. They could only see his gigantic body, they couldn't see Nam Huang Yunxi. You guys won't have a chance. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. I don't believe it. Nanfeng Aoshue's silhouette flickered as a heaven-shaking phoenix cry rang out. She appeared before Qin Wenyan as an incomparably gigantic phoenix manifested, exuding a towering might of a saint beast. It spat out immortal fire and at the same time, its claws were as sharp as swords as they slashed out. At this instant, Qin Wenyan felt that he was facing a world-shaking phoenix. His immortal foundation radiated boundless might, and within it, a divine dragon could be faintly seen. Qin Wenyan's entire body shone with a towering demonic light, resembling a supreme demonic god. He blasted out with God's hand, instantly causing the heavens and earth to shatter. A gigantic demonic dragon appeared, containing supreme might within it. It clashed head-on with that ancient phoenix. Dragon roars and phoenix cries rang out as a heaven-shaking battle ensued. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth unceasingly, transforming into boundless immortal energy that flowed endlessly. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi's countenances drastically changed when they saw this scene. They actually had no way to interfere in such a battle. Also, the space here was too narrow and sealed off by Qin Wenyan. If they couldn't break through Qin Wenyan's defenses, they could forget about passing through. The two of them exchanged glances and could only retreat, leaving this ancient path of nirvana. Die! Nanfeng Aoshue was truly angered. She was a 3rd-level Immortal Foundation expert, a heaven chosen of the Nam Huang clan. She had the identity of a holy maiden and wanted to seize the authority of the holy successor. But now, she couldn't even take down a 1st-level Immortal Foundation cultivator. This was simply a great humiliation. Within his Immortal Foundation, a supreme flame sword shot out from the mouth of that ancient phoenix. Qin Wenyan coldly snorted. Within his Immortal Foundation, a dazzling dark golden light flashed as God's hand blasted out. An ancient halberd capable of annihilating everything shot straight into the mouth of the demonic dragon. The sword and halberd collided in the air, causing the entire space to tremble, wanting to destroy both of them. Why must you be so stubborn? Since he doesn't belong to you, just give up. Qin Wenyan coldly spoke, causing Nanfeng Aoshue to feel even more humiliated. She was determined to seize the authority of the holy successor and had invited Zhong Zhan and the others to help her. But now, Qin Wendian actually said that he didn't belong to her. What conditions did Nam Huang Yunxi give you? Nanfeng Aoshue spoke. I can give you double the amount. Qin Wendian shook his head. I'm friends with Nam Huang Yunxi. She simply sent me an invitation and I came here. What conditions? In that case, You guys have an extraordinary relationship? Nanfeng Aoshue continued. As the two of them spoke, the battle didn't stop. Holy Maiden Aoshue thinks too much. No wonder you have no fate with the holy successor. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. With a thunderous roar, another true Ho rushed out from God's hand. With a thunderous roar, it tore through the void, aiming for the phoenix. Rumble! The ancient phoenix screeched and was finally defeated. Nanfeng Aoshue groaned in misery as she retreated unceasingly, her countenance pale. This path is blocked. Qin Wentian stared at her as he coldly spoke. Nanfeng Aoshue had an expression of reluctance on her face. She finally gave up and chose to walk out of this path. Chapter 1049. Qin Wentian watched as Nanfeng Aoshue left, but he still didn't leave. His aura dissipated, but his body didn't shrink in size. He stood there, as though he was thinking for Nam Huang Yunshi's sake. After all, the scene behind him was too beautiful. However, at this moment, a scream of misery rang out from behind him, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. Don't look at indecent things. Qin Wentian reminded himself, calming his heart. Nam Huang Yunshi screamed unceasingly, as though she was enduring immense pain. Seems like her body was undergoing a baptism once again. During the path of immortal ascension, her body had already undergone a baptism. This ancestral land of the Nam Huang clan must have some sort of secret art that allowed one to face death and return to life. Most probably, it would allow one's body to undergo another transformation, becoming even stronger. This process continued for a very long time, but there was still no one who came to disturb the other three paths. Most probably, Nanfeng Aoshue and her companions also encountered powerful obstructions on the other two paths. She should be finished, right? Qin Wentian silently mused. He turned his head back only to see that Nam Huang Yunshi's body was now even more flawless than before. Her jade-white skin was tinged with a hint of redness, and her black hair fluttered in the wind. Such a scene would cause one to linger on for a long time. I didn't do it on purpose. Qin Wentian spoke to himself, hurriedly turning his head back. He told himself that he was only worried about Nam Huang Yunshi's safety and didn't have any intentions of profanity. He, Qin Wentian, wasn't a lecherous person. After a long time, a light voice drifted over. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke in a soft voice. Done. Qin Wentian let out a breath, as though he was extremely nervous earlier. His body shrank and he turned his head back only to see that Nam Huang Yunshi had donned a beautiful phoenix feather robe, looking flawless. Upon seeing Nam Huang Yunshi's gaze, Qin Wentian felt a little guilty. He hurriedly asked, "Can we continue forward? The road ahead will require the protection of my body. Come with me." Nam Huang Yunshi spoke in a light voice. As for the other two paths, Nanfeng Xinga and Nanfeng Qingruo each opened up a path that led into the distance. Kong Yi, Jiang Ziyu and the others entered. Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Shihua and the other holy maidens also entered. When they saw the scene before them, expressions of disappointment could be seen on their faces. Had things ended already? How should we proceed ahead? Nanfeng Aoshue asked. Big Sis Ao Shui, you all no longer have a chance. Only the three of us can continue on this path. If anyone else wants to enter, they will need to use our bodies to protect them. Nanfeng Xinga gently spoke. Nanfeng Aoshue's eyes flickered with reluctance. She coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian, she wouldn't have failed. How do we go there? Kong Yi asked Nanfeng Xinga. How about we each bring one person with us? Nanfeng Qingruo stared at Nanfeng Xinga and Nam Huang Yunshi. Right. Nanfeng Xinga nodded lightly. Nam Huang Yunshi also nodded in agreement. Jiang Ziyu. Nanfeng Qingruo stared at Jiang Ziyu, Nanfeng Xinga stared at Kong Yi, while Nam Huang Yunshi's beautiful eyes landed on Qin Wentian. Mingchen Purgatory, wait for me here. Qin Wentian turned his head and spoke to Jun Mingchen and Purgatory. The two of them nodded, they had no objections. Senior brother, you have to be careful. These two are extremely powerful. Jun Mengchen transmitted his voice to Qin Wenyin. Qin Wenyin naturally knew that Jun Mengchen was referring to Kong Yi and Jiang Ziyu. Earlier, after Nanfeng Aoshue exited the Nirvana ancient path, she must have tried to break through the other two paths. However, he didn't see her entering the Nirvana path. From this, one could see how powerful the obstructions were. Right. Qin Wendian replied. Since Jun Mengchen reminded him, these two must be extremely powerful. Qin Wendian walked towards Nam Huang Yunxi. Nam Huang Yunxi spread her wings and spoke to Qin Wendian, "Come in front of me." MHM. Qin Wendian walked forward. Nam Huang Yunxi folded her wings as she spoke in a low voice, "Hold my hand." Qin Wendian grabbed Nam Huang Yunxi's arm. Nam Huang Yunxi was staring ahead. There was no abnormality in her expression. With a flap of her wings, the two of them soared into the air. Nam Huang Yunxi's silhouette flickered as she flew forward like a bolt of lightning. She closed her wings, enveloping herself and Qin Wendian within as they sped into the Nirvana path. Not only her, Nanfeng Xingge and Nanfeng Qingrua also brought their protectors and sped forward. Purgatory, don't you feel that senior brother Qin is very fortunate? Jun Mengchen stared at Qin Wendian as he spoke to Purgatory beside him. Purgatory glared at him. Big brother Qin is doing this because he wants to help Nam Huang Yunxi obtain the position of the holy successor. He doesn't have the same thoughts as you. I'm just saying. Jun Mengchen scratched his head, staring at this beautiful lass Purgatory who treated his senior brother so well. The more he looked at her, the more he felt that Qin Wendian was blessed. What are you looking at? Purgatory's tone was unkind. Jun Mengchen hurriedly averted his gaze. No, I'm not looking. A powerful aura descended. Nanfeng Aoshue and Zhong Zhan floated in the air, staring at Jun Mengchen and the others. Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed as he spoke. Nanfeng Aoshue, you are the holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan. The competition for the position of holy successor should be fair. If you are defeated, so be it. Don't be so petty, right? Nanfeng Aoshue coldly snorted and flicked her sleeves as she departed. She had waited for tens of years, yet her hope was shattered just like that. What are you looking at? What heaven-warring condor? Let's fight after we exit the ancestral lands. Jun Mengchen glared at Zhong Zhan as he taunted. Just you wait. Zhong Zhan coldly spoke. At this moment, Qin Wendian and the others had already arrived at the next level. This place was even more resplendent. Ahead of them, there was an incomparably gigantic parasol tree that spiraled up into the sky. Above it, resplendent rays of auspicious light could be seen. Countless parasol leaves fluttered in the air, weaving together to form a dreamlike scene. A phoenix perches on the parasol tree. Qin Wendian walked out from the protection of Nanfeng Yunxi's wings. He stood beside Nanfeng Yunxi as he inclined his head and stared at the sky. Ahead of him, there was an ancient parasol tree that towered into the sky. Above it, an auspicious glow could be seen, and the silhouette of a phoenix could be faintly seen. In this ancestral land, could there be a powerful Saint Beast Phoenix? Qin Wendian spoke in a low voice. Qin Wendian was thinking that if the ancestral land of the Nam Huang clan was a phoenix, and this phoenix was the same age as the Nam Huang clan, how ancient would it be? If this was true, it would definitely be a supremely powerful Saint Beast. I can't go up? Just when Qin Wendian wanted to soar into the air, he discovered that a formless law energy was pressing down on him, causing him to be unable to fly up. These parasol leaves are the bridge that leads to the void. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke to Qin Wendian. She stared at the parasol leaves fluttering unceasingly in the air as her immortal sense permeated them. All of a sudden she spat out a rune. This rune was one that Qin Wendian had never heard of before. In an instant, a parasol leaf floated before her, transforming into a flight of stairs. Nam Huang Yunxi walked up and as expected, she took a step into the void. How mystical. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. This parasol leaf was extremely large and the flight of stairs they formed could accommodate several people. He walked to the side of Nam Huang Yunxi and didn't continue to disturb her. He knew that this was a crucial moment. He only needed to protect Nam Huang Yunqi well. Nanfeng Xingge and Nanfeng Qingrua, the two holy maidens, also spat out strange runes, unceasingly forming a flight of stairs. 3 ancient parasol paths gradually appeared in the air, exuding a resplendent magnificence, connecting to the sky as they moved towards the peak of the gigantic parasol tree. Nanfeng Xingge was in the middle, Nanfeng Qingrua was on the left, and Namhuang Yunqi was on the right. This position was extremely disadvantageous to Nanfeng Xingge. However, as the three of them formed the flight of stairs, Nanfeng Qingrua seemed to be slightly slower. Namhuang Yunqi and Nanfeng Xingge advanced side by side, advancing at the same pace. Upon seeing this scene, a smile appeared on Kong Ye's face. Seems like Nanfeng Xingge and Namhuang Yunqi's comprehension of the parasol leaves was a level higher. Nanfeng Qingrua was most probably at a disadvantage now. As they continued ascending, the distance between them gradually increased. Namhuang Yunqi and Nanfeng Xingge were still advancing side by side, almost at the same pace. Kong Ye's eyes flashed as he stared in the direction of Namhuang Yunqi. Qin Wenyan glanced over and stared at him. For the final battle, I feel that it's better to leave it to the 3 holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. We only need to protect them and not allow them to be disturbed. Victory is already in my grasp. Why should I give way? Kong Yi stared at Qin Wenyan as he spoke, his words causing Qin Wenyan's eyes to flicker as he stared at Kong Yi. This Kong Yi was so confident. He said that victory is already in his grasp. Does this mean that he would be able to defeat Qin Wenyan for sure and expel Namhuang Yunqi, allowing Nanfeng Xingge to obtain the inheritance? If you are defeated as a protector, wouldn't you implicate holy maiden Nanfeng Xingge? Qin Wenyan counter-asked. Since I'm a protector, I will naturally fight for her. Kong Yi calmly spoke. In addition, I won't be defeated. Nanfeng Aoshue also believes that she will definitely obtain the inheritance, but she hasn't even reached this point. Overconfidence is simply arrogance and ignorance. Qin Wenyan spoke. The two of them clashed with each other. Kong Ye's aura gushed forth. He no longer spoke. From the looks of things, Nanfeng Qingrua was at a disadvantage while Namhuang Yunqi and Nanfeng Xingge advanced steadily. From Kong Ye's perspective, as long as he defeated Namhuang Yunqi's protector, Qin Wenyan, he would be able to stop Namhuang Yunqi from advancing further. Nanfeng Xingge would become the holy successor. How could Kong Yi miss out on such an opportunity? Qin Wenyan released his immortal foundation might when he saw this scene. Since Kong Yi wants to fight, he would fight then. Bizizi. An incomparably dazzling light suddenly blossomed from Kong Ye's body like a peacock spreading its tail. This peacock spread its tail and shot out a 7-colored immortal light. In an instant, everyone's vision became blurry. Qin Wenyan closed his eyes. Seems like this Kong Yi had a demonic beast bloodline. Indeed, Kong Ye's father was a human expert while his mother was a peacock demon king. Many immortal seals blasted out from the body of the peacock, attacking with lightning speed while Qin Wenyan was in a daze. Qin Wenyan's immortal foundation frenziedly gushed forth as immortal light circulated around him. The shadow of the divine turtle protected him as the immortal seals blasted out, shattering the defenses of the turtle. Qin Wenyan's immortal sense enveloped this entire space. Even if he didn't open his eyes and only used his immortal sense to observe, when he stared at the peacock shadow, under the illumination of the multicolored light, Qin Wenyan still felt his vision turning blurry. Jun Mingchen reminded him to be careful of Kong Yi and Jiang Ziyu. Both of them were truly powerful characters. Kong Ye's confidence originated from his overwhelming strength. Since victory is assured, why should I give way to you? Kong Ye's voice drifted over. Dazzling 7-colored light circulated around him. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic peacock manifested, bringing with it many ancient immortal seals as it blasted out, wanting to destroy everything. After defeating Qin Wenyan, Nanfeng Xingge would become the holy successor. Chapter 1050. Kong Ye's attacks were terrifying. The might of his immortal seals were incomparably tyrannical. Qin Wenyin radiated resplendent immortal light as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth frenziedly. The shadow of a divine turtle manifested around him as his body expanded in size, shielding Namhuang Yunxi behind him, not allowing her to be disturbed. At the same time, God's hand appeared once more. The fiend god heavenly suppression art was unleashed. Given Qin Wentian's perfect physique and saint-grade immortal foundation, the might of the fiend god heavenly suppression art was incomparably terrifying. Every time the god's hand blasted out, it seemed as though it wanted to suppress this entire space, slaying immortals and devils. It frenziedly clashed against Qin Wentian's attacks, causing the entire space to tremble as thunderous rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Kong Yi let out the cry of a peacock. The seven-colored light radiating from him grew even more dazzling, blotting out the sun. Qin Wentian's vision grew even more blurry. He who had his eyes closed felt his immortal sense being obstructed. The seven-colored light radiating from the peacock made everyone feel as though everything was an illusion. But what was even more terrifying was that the rainbow-colored light unceasingly radiated immortal seals, frenziedly blasting towards Qin Wenyin. Qin Wentian's saint-grade immortal foundation radiated boundless immortal light. A terrifying heaven-devouring greater demon appeared, exuding boundless might. Qin Wentian's god's hand blasted out as a gigantic primordial chaos greater demon appeared in the air. It let out a heaven-shaking roar of rage, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Everything before it was about to be devoured by its malevolent maw. Even the immortal seals of the peacock were completely devoured. It was simply terrifying. Qin Wenyin once obtained a treasured cauldron in the ancient city in the city of ancient emperors. Within the cauldron were the treasured arts of 8 greater demons. They were respectively demonic dragon, great rock, black tortoise, divine elephant, vermilion bird, Kirin, true Ho, and primordial chaos. Each of the arts contained boundless might, containing countless profound innate techniques. Up until now, Qin Wenyin had only managed to comprehend the tip of the iceberg. The 8 great fiends' precious techniques possessed boundless power. Primal chaos swallowed the heavens, destroying everything. The peacock ancient fiend was shaken, the imprint's power seemingly suppressed. Kong Yi didn't expect Qin Wenyin to actually be so powerful. Although the treasured art of a greater demon was extremely powerful, Qin Wenyin was after all only at the first level of immortal foundation. Being able to unleash such power naturally had something to do with his perfect physique and powerful immortal foundation. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation seemed to be close to perfection. Kong Yi could sense that there were no flaws at all. Being able to suppress his immortal foundation indicated that Qin Wentian's immortal foundation was extremely high. Not only so, Qin Wentian's god's hands were also extremely powerful. All kinds of methods were combined together, instantly unleashing an extremely powerful might that transcended realms. One must know that even for heaven's chosen characters, if they were 2 levels lower than him, they would still be insta-killed by him. Immortal foundation, each level represents a realm, constantly growing stronger and stronger. Compared to a first-level immortal foundation cultivator, how could a third-level immortal foundation cultivator be merely a level stronger? We came here to protect the ancestral lands. The original intention of the Namhuang clan was to ensure that the Holy Maiden wouldn't be disturbed, allowing her to decide who the inheritor would be. However, you purposely wanted to destroy this. Most probably, the true meaning of protection lies in this, right? Qin Wenyin calmly spoke, his attacks towering up into the sky, suppressing all immortals and devils in this world. Kong Yi coldly snorted. Behind him, the peacock tail spread out as countless imprints revolved, manifesting a revolving screen of destructive light that frenziedly blasted towards the greater demon. Even his immortal foundation was unleashed, containing boundless might. The attacks formed from the powerful imprints transformed into sacred light that could destroy everything. The greater demon trembled unceasingly, as though it would be destroyed at any moment. In Qin Wentian's body, his saint-grade immortal foundation radiated with destructive light as ancient halberds manifested one after another, shining with a dark golden light that contained a supreme destructive might. These ancient halberds rushed into God's hand, growing stronger and stronger as they blasted out explosively. Each of the ancient halberds exuded an aura of annihilation as they blasted towards Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan's eyes were still closed, using his heart to sense the battle. Rumble, rumble. The destructive energy pierced into the revolving light screen as crackling sounds rang out. The seal was shattered as the terrifying ancient halberd penetrated through everything. Kong Ye's countenance drastically changed. The light screen trembled unceasingly as the peacock's tail fanned out, unable to withstand the destructive might of the halberd. Yet another incomparably gigantic ancient halberd slashed over, akin to a bolt of black golden lightning. With a deafening boom, a rainbow-colored light scattered in the air. Kong Ye's attack was shattered, and his body was forced backwards as he groaned in agony. However, Qin Wenyan didn't stop there. He continued his attack. Kong Ye's countenance grew incredibly unsightly. Numerous terrifying great rocks whistled through the air, unceasingly lacerating his energy and slamming into his body. He had already lost his position and had no way to continue protecting Nanfeng Xingge. Since you started this war, you should pay the price for your defeat. Qin Wenyan coldly spoke. Holy Maiden Xingge, I'm afraid you have to stop now. His voice rang out in the ears of Nanfeng Xingge, causing her body to tremble. She opened her eyes and turned her head, glancing at Kong Yi only to see his countenance turning pale. He felt that he didn't have the face to face Nanfeng Xingge anymore. Xingge's comprehension abilities aren't inferior to Namhuang Yunxi. Kong Yi stared at Qin Wenyan as he spoke. You said before that if you lose, you would implicate Holy Maiden Xingge. Qin Wenyan calmly spoke. He walked up, following Namhuang Yunxi's footsteps, protecting her. Nanfeng Xingge fell silent for a moment before she smiled. Yunxi truly has good judgment when she invited you to be her protector. Holy Maiden Xingge, there's no need to undervalue yourself. If it wasn't for Kong Yi, it would be hard to say who would be the victor. Qin Wenyan smiled. Nanfeng Xingge's demeanor was like a painting, exuding an ethereal beauty. Her demeanor was extraordinary as well, far surpassing Nanfeng Aoshue. Protectors are a part of the fight for the ancestral lands. A loss is a loss. Nanfeng Xingge gently smiled. After that, she stared at Kong Yi. Kong Yi, I'm already very grateful that you came here to help me. There's no need to blame yourself. If it wasn't for your help, I might not have been able to reach here. Kong Yi felt even more ashamed in his heart when he saw the smile on Nanfeng Xingge's face. If Nanfeng Xingge's expression was cold, he might feel better. I wasn't able to help you become the holy successor and instead implicated you. What's there to thank me for? Kong Yi shook his head. He stared at Qin Wenyan. The battle intent in his eyes was as intense as ever. He wanted nothing more than to fight again to wash away this humiliation. Nanfeng Xingge didn't say anything more. Kong Yi would definitely remember this defeat in his heart. And at this moment, Qin Wenyan frowned. In another direction, Nanfeng Qingrua continued ascending. Her speed suddenly increased, even faster compared to Nanfeng Xingge and Namhuang Yunxi. She seemed to be catching up to them. What's going on? Was Nanfeng Qingrua intentionally concealing her strength before this? Qin Wenyan turned his gaze over. He saw Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu walking side by side. Their immortal senses were focused on the parasol leaves, and at this moment, 2 leaves transformed into a flight of stairs that appeared before them. How can this be? Nanfeng Xingge also saw this scene. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light as she stared at the scene. This was no longer Nanfeng Qingrua alone comprehending the parasol leaves. Jiang Ziyu was actually able to do it as well. However, Jiang Ziyu wasn't someone from the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Xingge, why is he able to do this? Qin Wenyan asked. He could also tell that Jiang Ziyu was able to comprehend the mysteries behind the leaves of the parasol tree, while he and Kong Yi had no way to do so. The cultivation methods of the Jiang clan are extremely mysterious. It's rumored that all of them have cultivated Buddhist innate techniques, including some extremely powerful immortal arts that contain boundless possibilities. In the past, no one from the Jiang clan has ever entered the inheritance grounds of our Namhuang clan before. Jiang Ziyu is the first. Nanfeng Shunga slowly spoke. I heard that the Buddhist path has a supreme innate technique named the heavenly gaze technique. It can see through all illusions and see through the essence of the parasol leaves. Could it be that Jiang Ziyu has cultivated this technique and is able to see through the secrets of the parasol leaves? But if this is the case, if he doesn't marry into our Namhuang clan in the future, wouldn't that mean? Nanfeng Shunga furrowed her brows. What are those parasol leaves? Qin Wendian asked. Items recorded in the ancient records of our Namhuang clan, as well as a secret art that belongs to our Namhuang clan. This is a test of our familiarity with the ancient records of the Namhuang clan, as well as our comprehension abilities. Nanfeng Shunga spoke. Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu's speed grew faster and faster. They had already surpassed Nanfeng Shunga and were gradually catching up to Qin Wenyan and Namhuang Yunxi. Most probably, it wouldn't be long before they surpassed them as well. Does your Namhuang clan allow such a situation to happen? Qin Wendian asked. But Jiang Ziyu was invited by Nanfeng Qingrua and can be considered a guest. Even if he managed to pry into the secrets of our Namhuang clan has no way to blame him. Nanfeng Shunga spoke. This was a voluntary action of the Namhuang clan, it was an invitation. In addition, Jiang Ziyu was a disciple of the Jiang clan. The Namhuang clan had no reason to do anything to him. What about Nanfeng Qingrua? She should know about this, right? Why is she so daring? Qin Wendian asked. In such a situation, she would become the holy successor of this generation and obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands. Her status would be extraordinary. Who can say anything at that time? Nanfeng Shunga replied. Both Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu weren't simple characters. In that case, we can only stop Jiang Ziyu. Qin Wenyan emotionlessly spoke. If both Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu comprehended the inheritance, Namhuang Yunxi would surely lose. This was cheating. Qin Wenyan and Jiang Ziyu flew higher and higher. Nanfeng Shunga, who was in the middle, had to raise her head to see them. Kong Yi walked to her side and asked, "Have you given up?" No, the one who obtained the inheritance in the end wouldn't be me. Regardless of Qin Wendian or Jiang Ziyu, both of them aren't simple characters. Nanfeng Shunga stared at the two figures in the air. So it turned out that she was merely a spectator. Jiang Ziyu. At this moment, Qin Wendian called out. A moment later, his voice rang out in Jiang Ziyu's mind. However, it was as though he didn't hear it and continued comprehending the inheritance. The parasol leaves landed on the ground. Chapter 1051. When Qin Wenyan saw that Jiang Ziyu was ignoring him, the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. He grabbed out with his hand, traversing through space as a gigantic palm imprint directly blasted towards Jiang Ziyu. He knew that Jiang Ziyu definitely knew what he was doing. And as expected, at the instant the gigantic palm imprint slammed down, Jiang Ziyu lifted his hand and blasted out. Resplendent runic light circulated around his arm, penetrating through everything. That terrifying attack transformed into a long spear that slammed into Qin Wentian's palm imprint, causing it to explode. Jiang Ziyu didn't even frown as he continued comprehending. Jiang Ziyu is so powerful. Nanfeng Shunga spoke when she saw this scene. The Jiang clan was one of the 3 supreme clans of the southern regions. They had the smallest population and were also the most mysterious. However, their combat prowess was extremely high. Just like the Namhuang clan, the Jiang clan also had their own inheritances. This Jiang Ziyu, who came out to roam the southern regions, was most probably one of the most outstanding characters of the Jiang clan in this generation. Qin Wenyan could sense the tyrannical energy radiating from Jiang Ziyu. At this moment, he could already confirm that this Jiang Ziyu most probably had a 5th-ranked king-grade immortal foundation that could be described as perfect. Such a character, among the holy maidens of the Southern Phoenix clan, Only Nam Huang Yunxi could stand shoulder to shoulder with him. The other holy maidens would find it hard to defeat him. This indicated that if the Nam Huang clan didn't want to be suppressed by Jiang Ziyu in this generation, they had to let Nam Huang Yunxi obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands and become the holy successor. The might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. Qin Wenyan radiated a tyrannical battle intent. It wouldn't be so easy for Jiang Ziyu to join forces with Nanfeng Qingrua and obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands. God's hand appeared. An ancient halberd appeared in Qin Wentian's hands. He abruptly slashed out explosively, causing the ancient halberd to expand explosively, becoming incomparably gigantic. It traversed through space, exuding an incomparably terrifying destructive might as it shot towards Jiang Ziyu. A terrifying immortal light gushed forth from Jiang Ziyu. His arm was like a divine weapon, shining with the light of armor. With a lift of his hand, a gigantic silvery white spear appeared, colliding with the ancient halberd. Thunderous sounds rang out unceasingly, the spear shattered unceasingly. However, the power of the ancient halberd also weakened unceasingly. When it slammed into Jiang Ziyu's arm, it felt like it had struck a divine weapon. With a thunderous boom, the ancient halberd shattered. Jiang Ziyu's arm was comparable to an immortal ranked weapon. At this moment, Jiang Ziyu opened his eyes and stared in Qin Wentian's direction. His eyes were terrifying, as though they could see through everything. When he stared at Qin Wentian, a look of disdain could be seen in his eyes. Boom! A fearsome might gushed forth from Jiang Ziyu. His body glowed with a resplendent armor, exuding an incomparably sharp aura. He who was radiating immortal might was like a king among immortals. A fearsome energy converged in the air. Jiang Ziyu lifted his hand as a gigantic vortex appeared, transforming into an incomparably sharp long spear. He stabbed out with his spear, ignoring the distance between them, aiming for Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan had a solemn expression on his face. Fighting against Jiang Ziyu would be his greatest challenge in the Southern Phoenix ancestral grounds. This person wasn't simple at all. God's hand brought with it a violent might, capable of leveling everything. It collided with Qin Wentian's long spear, using force to break force. Jiang Ziyu's spear was as fast as lightning, and with a single flash, he was able to unleash over 10 spear strikes. In just an instant, this entire space was buried by his spear. Qin Wentian's body expanded in size, blocking Nam Huang Yunxi who was behind him. His god's hand radiated boundless might, capable of toppling mountains and overturning seas, containing a might that could shatter the heavens and rend the earth. Roar! A thunderous roar rang out. A gigantic shadow clad in armor appeared behind Jiang Ziyu. This shadow was none other than a white tiger king, exuding an aura that could shake the heavens, capable of slaughtering everything under the heavens. The white tiger was a god of slaughter, the symbol of slaughter. Jiang Ziyu's spear swept through the heavens and earth. Every spear strike caused the white tiger to roar in rage, radiating killing intent that permeated the heavens and earth. The shadow of the white tiger pounced over, exuding a fearsome might. Qin Wentian's battle didn't stop. His immortal foundation manifested as numerous Zhenhou greater demons appeared within his halberd arts. The Zhenhou greater demons clashed against the white tiger, causing thunderous roars to echo out. Both of them were extremely ferocious demons. The white tiger symbolized slaughter while the Zhenhou greater demons were able to slay true dragons, feasting on them after they were defeated. Spear and halberd collided, the white tiger against the Zhenhou greater demons. For a moment, the heavens and earth seemed to be collapsing. Even as they fought, they didn't forget to protect the people behind them. Nanfeng Qingrua and Nam Huang Yunxi weren't disturbed at all. They continued to focus on comprehending the parasol leaves as they continued upwards. These two are so powerful. Nanfeng Shunga silently mused. She watched the battle between the two of them. Both of their combat prowess far surpassed her. One was a genius from the Jiang clan, while the other was a genius who rose up in the city of ancient emperors. The two of them had something in common. They had both obtained the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings and were characters with unparalleled combat prowess. Nam Huang Yunxi is about to catch up to Nan Feng Qingrua. Nan Feng Shunga stared at the two holy maidens. There was no need for Qin Wendian to win. As long as he didn't lose and didn't allow Jiang Ziyu to focus on comprehending the parasol leaves, Nam Huang Yunxi would win. Naturally, since Jiang Ziyu and Nan Feng Qingrua entered the ancestral lands together, they wouldn't allow Qin Wendian and Nam Huang Yunxi to have their way so easily. Rumble! And as expected, at this instant, a terrifying light erupted from Jiang Ziyu. The armor on his body seemed to have shattered and was being reforged. His entire body seemed to be formed from innumerable immortal talismans that contained terrifying might. When Jiang Ziyu attacked again, those immortal talismans descended from the sky, blasting towards Qin Wendian together with his attacks. Each of those immortal talismans contained supreme might, and as they bore down on Qin Wendian, the entire space seemed to be filled with them. These immortal talismans were like mysterious ancient characters that contained the great Tao of laws, as well as attacks of the great Tao. Buddhic chants could be heard in the air, akin to the music of the great Tao. At this instant, Qin Wendian was enveloped by the boundless might of the attacks. There was simply no place for him to hide. Jiang Ziyu's attacks were too tyrannical and sharp. Qin Wendian's entire body shimmered with a mysterious light, resembling ancient runes. His body seemed indestructible, sparkling and translucent, flawless. His god's hand exuded a heaven-shaking might, as well as a supreme demonic qi. The might of his perfect saint-grade immortal foundation enveloped him. With a roar of rage, primordial chaos swallowed everything, wanting to devour the boundless might of the attacks. He lifted his palms and attacked. The true host slaughtered everything, while the great rock ravaged the heavens and earth. At this instant, the destructive might of the two of them clashed madly, causing the entire space to tremble unstably. Jiang Ziyu's expression was as calm as ever. His eyes seemed to be able to see through everything, incomparably deep. Rumbling sounds rang out as he released his immortal foundation. Jiang Ziyu's immortal foundation floated in the air as many phenomena manifested around him. This was an immortal foundation that was close to perfection. This immortal foundation was actually an ancient Buddha, an undying ancient Buddha. In an instant, Buddhic light illuminated the heavens and earth, containing supreme might within. Buddhas aren't benevolent Buddhas. The Jiang clan cultivates Buddhas, but they aren't benevolent at all. Qin Wendian silently mused. This ancient Buddha might seem peaceful, but its might was extremely terrifying and dangerous to the extreme. There was a faint intent of slaughter within it, as though it wanted to prove its Tao through killing. Rumble! Light flashed as a supreme ancient imprint transformed into a gigantic palm imprint, capable of crushing the heavens and earth as it blasted towards Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian's immortal might gushed forth to the extreme as an immortal foundation appeared. This was also a flawless immortal foundation that floated in the air, circulating immortal light. This was a human-shaped immortal foundation that radiated immortal light. It was truly flawless. Boom! Above the immortal foundation, a destructive light radiated forth, as well as a suppressive might, transforming into a phenomenon of the immortal foundation. The light illuminated the area, destroying all the incoming imprint attacks. In the air, the destructive might was still there. The two of them were evenly matched. Jiang Ziyu's eyes gradually grew less calm. On the contrary, Qin Wendian's expression was calm. Nam Huang Yunxi surpassed Nam Huang Yunxi, climbing up step by step. If Jiang Ziyu didn't interfere, the position of the holy successor would belong to Nam Huang Yunxi. The gigantic Buddha manifested a white tiger diagram. When Jiang Ziyu lifted his palms to attack, the killing god white tiger grew even more terrifying, resembling a mount of an ancient Buddha, exuding boundless killing might. Qin Wendian's expression was as calm as ever. That perfect saint-grade immortal foundation manifested numerous terrifying true phantoms that frenziedly attacked. Qin Wendian's body was gigantic. He stood there unmoving. No matter how Jiang Ziyu attacked, he couldn't make him retreat a single step. Boom! A burst of intense light erupted as Jiang Ziyu directly vanished from his location. He soared through the air and instantly appeared before Qin Wenyin. His speed was so fast that no one could react to it. A killing god white tiger slashed down, exuding an indomitable killing might, wanting to destroy everything. Such a sudden attack was simply unblockable. Qin Wenyan's immortal foundation radiated boundless light. The ancient halberd and terrifying greater demons suddenly appeared before him, suppressing him with destructive might. Terrifying destructive light circulated around him. Qin Wenyan's god's hand stretched out, borrowing the power of his immortal foundation to unleash a supreme might that could suppress the heavens and earth. With a thunderous boom, Jiang Ziyu's body vanished. He stared at Qin Wenyan, his eyes incomparably cold, even colder than weapons. It's almost impossible for anyone to establish a perfect immortal foundation at the first level of immortal foundation. Also, your god's hand is an ultimate art created by an ancient emperor. You have many secrets on you, and any one of these secrets can cause a calamity to befall you. Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wenyan as he spoke. His eyes gleamed with wisdom, as though he could see through Qin Wenyan. Your fifth-tier immortal foundation is at the king grade. How can ordinary people achieve that? Your innate techniques are also extremely powerful. Could it be that you have no secrets on you? Qin Wenyan stared at Jiang Ziyu as he replied. The descendants of my Jiang clan roam the immortal realms. How many people would dare to touch us? Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wenyan. Evidently, the ancient Jiang clan wasn't something the Emperor Qinbian could compare to. Their foundations were too deep, even the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't be considered anything in the eyes of the Jiang clan. What do you want to say? Qin Wenyan asked. I don't need to contend for the inheritance of the ancestral lands. I want to invite you to my Jiang clan as a guest. I wonder if you are willing? Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wenyan as he spoke. Chapter 1052. Qin Wenyan stared at Jiang Ziyu. He didn't expect that Jiang Ziyu would suddenly change the topic and actually invite him to the ancient Jiang clan as a guest. However, Jiang Ziyu's heart was filled with unfathomable intentions. It was naturally impossible for him to go. He replied, Earlier you said that the secret on me would cause a great calamity to befall you. Now, you are inviting me to the ancient Jiang clan? Don't you find it laughable? If I join the ancient Jiang clan, wouldn't I be at your mercy? I guarantee that if you are willing to go, I will respect you as a guest and treat you with the utmost respect. Jiang Ziyu smiled. His eyes flickered with a mysterious light, as though there was always a sense of self-confidence hidden within, causing others to be unable to see through him. An ancient clan that has existed for countless years, who knows what methods they have? Most probably, they can easily control the thoughts of others. Qin Wenyan coldly laughed in his heart. Jiang Ziyu was too naive, he wasn't such a foolish person. I'm not free. Qin Wenyan faintly spoke. You don't dare? Jiang Ziyu provoked. You want me to go to your Jiang clan with just a single sentence? Do you have that much face? Qin Wenyan coldly laughed. Wasn't Jiang Ziyu's provocation a little too laughable? Jiang Ziyu laughed. He wasn't surprised. It would be strange if Qin Wenyan agreed. Inclining his head, he stared at the two silhouettes that were flying higher and higher. Jiang Ziyu spoke in a low voice. Seems like you are determined to obstruct me today. This was originally a battle between the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. We are only protecting them. You have done too much. Qin Wenyan replied. Since I am a protector, why wouldn't I dare to use my strength to help someone become the holy successor? Your way of thinking is the laughable one. However, given your strength, I truly have no way to ignore your existence. Seems like this time around, the position of the holy successor of the Namhuang clan will be seized by Namhuang Yunshi. Jiang Ziyu said calmly, as if he was talking about something that had nothing to do with him. He was just a spectator and did not care much about the fight for the holy successor. Jiang Ziyu's words gave Qin Wenyan a feeling. It was like him coming here to help Nanfeng Qingrua obtain the position of the holy successor was merely a tempering exercise for him. His state of heart was extraordinary and he could see things very calmly. If he could fight, he would do his best. If he couldn't, he would instantly calm down and toss everything to the back of his mind, completely forgetting about it. Such a calm state of mind was akin to cultivating in a Buddhist art, terrifying to the extreme. Kong Yi was Nan Fengsheng's helper. His state of mind was far inferior to Jiang Ziyu. Qin Wenyan, although your combat power is very strong, you haven't been able to use it to your heart's content in this battle. If you fight with all your strength, you're likely to lose. Jiang Ziyu seemed to be very interested in Qin Wenyan. Before this, he didn't speak much, but ever since he fought against Qin Wenyan, his interest in Qin Wenyan was piqued. He wanted to see through Qin Wenyan. This genius who looked even younger than him actually had such combat prowess? This truly made him curious. Earlier when he fought against Qin Wenyan, Jiang Ziyu saw many extraordinary aspects of Jiang Ziyu. There's no meaning in discussing matters of the unknown. Qin Wenyan calmly spoke. Jiang Ziyu was observing him, he was also observing him. Right now, he wasn't in a hurry. As long as Jiang Ziyu was here, Namhuang Yunshi would be able to win. There was nothing more he needed to do and he was more than happy to be idle. Indeed. Jiang Ziyu nodded in agreement. They said that you are in the immortal Qianbian Gate. Are you a disciple of the Emperor Qianbian? What does this have to do with you? Qin Wenyan asked. Jiang Ziyu smiled. If you didn't become a disciple of him, you can join my Jiang clan. I'll recommend you and I'll definitely nurture you well, treating you as a descendant of my Jiang clan. Naturally, even if you really became a disciple of my Jiang clan, you can change your sect. The foundations of any one of the three ancient clans of the southern region are incomparably deep. The immortal Qianbian Gate, a newly established power in the immortal realms, can't be compared to them. I believe you should be able to tell a thing or two from the Namhuang clan. Thank you for your kindness, but I have no interest in your Jiang clan at all. Qin Wenyan replied. You are not a disciple of the Emperor Qianbian. Jiang Ziyu suddenly laughed. You can guess as you wish. Qin Wenyan faintly replied. There's no need to guess, I already know the answer. Jiang Ziyu's smile was unfathomable. Qin Wenyan stared at his eyes, only to feel that this man was truly a tough character to deal with. Could it be like what Nan Fengsheng said, that he had cultivated the heavenly eyes of the Buddhist sect and was able to see through all illusions, even the thoughts of others? Wasn't this a little too terrifying? Nan Fengsheng had been listening to their conversation. Kong Yi was beside her and she discovered that although Kong Yi could already be considered a genius at the peak of the southern region, he was still a few levels lower when compared to these two young men before her. Qin Wenyan defeated him with a cultivation base at the first level of Immortal Foundation, while Jiang Ziyu was extremely mysterious, able to unravel the secrets of their Namhuang clan's parasol leaves. His combat prowess was also extremely terrifying. Seems like in this generation of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu should be a demon-level character. He came out to temper himself, yet he actually chose to temper himself in the Namhuang clan. Such a temperament was truly terrifying. If this man matured, he would definitely be a terrifying character in the Jiang clan. Naturally, compared to Jiang Ziyu, Qin Wenyan caused her to be even more shocked. After all, Jiang Ziyu was an elite of this generation of the Jiang clan and had the backing of an ancient clan. However, Qin Wenyan was also so terrifying. With such potential, it was possible that he would lead an entire generation in the future. At this moment, a bright light suddenly flashed. Qin Wenyan inclined his head and stared at the sky only to see a towering red light cascading down from above. Namhuang Yunshi borrowed the power of the parasol staircase and had already reached the peak of this ancient parasol tree. Nan Fengsheng was ultimately still a little lacking. She inclined her head and stared upwards as a hint of disappointment could be seen in her eyes. Even after reaching this step, did she still fail? A beam of fiery light cascaded down from the sky, incinerating the parasol staircase. Nan Fengsheng's silhouette flashed as she floated downwards. Very swiftly, she arrived at the location where Qin Wenyan and the others were at. She stood beside Jiang Ziyu as her beautiful eyes cast a deep glance at Qin Wenyin. However, she merely smiled and spoke. Sir Qin is truly awesome. You actually managed to send Nam Huang Yunshi to the position of the holy successor. Holy Maiden Qingrua, do you think so? Qin Wenyan spoke. The reason why Nam Huang Yunshi could become the Holy Maiden was because of her own abilities. Her comprehension abilities are the strongest among all the Holy Maidens, hence, she was always ahead of them. All I can do is to protect her. If not, if Holy Maiden Qingrua's comprehension abilities surpassed Nam Huang Yunshi earlier, even with Jiang Ziyu around, I wouldn't be able to stop Holy Maiden Qingrua from ascending to the peak. Your words aren't without logic. However, the role of a protector is also extremely great. Xingge is one of the holy maidens of our Nam Huang clan with extraordinary comprehension abilities. But wasn't she also blocked by someone else? Nanfeng Qingrua smiled, her words causing Kong Yi to have a look of guilt on his face. It was because of his defeat that led to Nanfeng Xingge's failure. Since things have already passed, there's no need for Sister Qingrua to say anything more. Nanfeng Xingge casually smiled. Qin Wenyin stared at the smiles in the eyes of the two holy maidens as he silently sighed in admiration at how extraordinary the Nam Huang clan was. These two holy maidens were both heaven's chosen and would surely have extraordinary accomplishments in the future. Okay, I won't say any more. But I really wish to go up and take a look. Nanfeng Qingrua inclined her head and stared in the direction of the parasol tree. Her eyes were filled with hidden bitterness as she stared at Qin Wenyin. Her beautiful countenance caused Qin Wenyin to be unable to endure it. The holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan were all fairy-like beauties. This was especially so for the two before him and Nam Huang Yunshi. They were the most beautiful among them. In addition, Qin Wenyin still felt a little guilty in front of Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Xingge. This was especially so when he saw the bitterness in Nanfeng Qingrua's eyes. It was as though she knew something. Qin Wenyin didn't dare to look her in the eye. And as they were conversing at the top of the parasol tree, Nanfeng Yunshi had a look of pilgrimage on her face. Her beautiful eyes stared ahead as her heartbeat quickened involuntarily. In fact, Nam Huang Yunshi's breathing was somewhat hurried. There's no need to be nervous. An ethereal voice that seemed to originate from the primordial era drifted into Nam Huang Yunshi's ears. Her heart was still racing as she stared at the incomparably sacred parasol tree before her. In front of this golden parasol tree, there was actually a true phoenix. This phoenix was bathed in flames and its wings were extremely beautiful, incomparably holy. Its eyes were filled with wisdom and farsightedness, as though it could see through everything in the world. Are you the ancestor of my Nam Huang clan? Nam Huang Yunshi asked in a low voice. There was actually a phoenix residing in this ancestral land? This was simply shocking. You can be considered to be. I've existed together with the Nam Huang clan, from the birth of the Nam Huang clan until now. Although the old phoenix was right before her, its voice was still extremely ethereal. Nam Huang Yunshi could sense a hint of gentleness in its eyes, causing her to feel a sense of serenity. Child, your immortal foundation is very perfect. You're only a step away from establishing a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation. In this era, if you didn't have any miraculous encounters, you wouldn't be able to establish such a perfect immortal foundation. Also, I can sense that your body has been baptized before. The phoenix spoke. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded. When Yunshi was in the city of ancient emperors, I had a miraculous encounter and bathed in the light of the sacred luminance, cleansing my body and even obtained a method to cultivate my immortal foundation. The protector should be the same as you, right? Both of you should have encountered a miraculous encounter in the same place, right? The phoenix asked. Enchim. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded. That's right. The phoenix smiled. After that she asked, do you like him? Nam Huang Yunshi started. Her beautiful eyes stared at the phoenix before her. Did she like Qin Wenyin? Before she entered the city of ancient emperors and met Qin Wenyin, she had never thought that she would like someone else. But what about now? Tell me with your heart. This is very important. It's impossible for the Southern Phoenix matriarch to marry an outsider unless he is willing to marry into the Namhwang clan. The phoenix gently spoke. Namhwang Yunshi fell silent for a moment before she gave her answer. Chapter 1053. Qin went in and the others waited below. An instant later, a bright light flashed in the air as the parasol path appeared. Namhwang Yunshi's voice drifted over. Qin Wenin, come up. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He stepped onto the parasol bridge and ascended step by step, feeling extremely curious in his heart. Why did Namhwang Yunshi want him to go up? This was the ancestral ground of the Namhwang clan. The inheritance belonged to Namhwang Yunshi. Although he was a helper to the Namhwang clan, he was nothing more than an outsider. The beautiful eyes of Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Shunga flashed with a bright light. Qin Wenyan actually went up. They inclined their heads. There was a holy light, but it gave off an illusory feeling. They couldn't see clearly what it was exactly. Jiang Ziyu, can you see through it? Nanfeng Shunga glanced at Jiang Ziyu, who was beside Nanfeng Qingrua, as she curiously asked. Jiang Ziyu shook his head. This is the most mysterious place in the ancestral ground of the Namhwang clan. How can I see through it? Nanfeng Shunga nodded her head lightly. Only the holy successor had the qualifications to reach the other shore and receive the inheritance. Qin Wenyan climbed up step by step. Finally, he arrived at the top of the parasol tree and saw a golden tree. The leaves on the tree were as bright as the sun, and over there, a mysterious and powerful saint beast, a phoenix, could be seen sitting there. It seemed to be an extremely ancient existence. Qin Wenyan pays his respects to Senior. Upon seeing the ancient phoenix, Qin Wenyan bowed. The ancestral ground of the Namhwang clan actually had such a powerful saint beast. This wasn't a young saint beast but a true saint beast. It most probably had the power to destroy the heavens and earth and could even contend against peak-stage immortal emperors in the immortal realms. It was definitely an extremely powerful existence. Qin Wenyan didn't dare to treat such a terrifying ancient phoenix as an ordinary demonic beast. His eyes were filled with respect. There's no need to be polite. The voice of the ancient phoenix was ethereal, extremely profound. The phoenix ancestor said that she wanted to talk to you. Namhwang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan nodded. Right now, Namhwang Yunshi was basking in holy light, exuding incomparable beauty. From now on, she was the holy successor of the Namhwang clan. Her status was extremely high and she had great authority in the Namhwang clan. She could directly mobilize many powerful immortal kings to serve her. More importantly, Namhwang Yunshi would receive the inheritance of the phoenix ancestor and would be qualified to compete for the position of the empress of the Namhwang clan. I saw Yi's supreme art from you. The old phoenix's voice was still ethereal as if it came from all directions. Senior, you also know ancient Emperor Yi? Qin Wenyan asked. The old phoenix lived in the ancestral land, and he thought that she would not set foot in the outside world. I'm a follower of the Namhwang clan. My knowledge of the matters in the immortal realms far surpasses yours. The old phoenix spoke. Qin Wenyan knew that he had misspoken and could only smile. He had indeed thought wrongly. Such a supreme existence, an ancient phoenix, the things she knew most probably far surpassed his imagination. Her existence was as ancient as the Namhwang clan. He once ruled an era and his talent was unparalleled. When he was young, he had already displayed shocking talent. His ultimate art, God's hand, caused people to tremble in fear upon hearing its name. It's a true supreme art. The God's hand you cultivated can only be considered as an entry-level art. You basically haven't comprehended the essence of God's hand. The old phoenix spoke. Junior knows. The God's hand I cultivated in the city of ancient emperors is indeed only at the entry level. Qin Wenyan nodded. That was the power he cultivated when he was at the celestial phenomenon realm. Let me show you some things. The old phoenix spoke. As a bright light flashed, a fiery red space appeared in the air. An image appeared, it was a scene. A supreme figure stood in the air, and before him, there were many experts from an incomparably powerful power. Both sides seemed to be in a standoff. The expert in the air radiated a boundless divine glow, instantly becoming incomparably dazzling. It was like all the energy in his body was being unleashed. His palms stretched out as a divine-like palm slammed downwards. This palm covered a distance of 10 million miles, containing a supreme destructive might, capable of destroying everything. Qin Wentian's heart trembled violently when he saw this. This supreme figure was frenziedly clashing with the experts below. Each and every strike was heaven-shaking, yet this god's hand seemed to have transformed into a wheel that could level the heavens and earth. Everything in the world would be annihilated. With a single palm strike, no one could block it. Boundless attacks. A power that had existed for countless years, radiating a territory of tens of thousands of miles, yet under the might of a single palm strike, the entire sky and earth trembled as the earth crumbled. It's leveled. Qin Wenyan stared in that direction as his body trembled. The strength of a supreme existence was simply beyond his imagination. However, at this moment, he only saw the eyes of that supreme figure flashing. He stared in the direction of the sky and grabbed out with his palm. In an instant, his palm seemed to have traversed a boundless distance, penetrating through the void. That space seemed to have been torn apart, and a supreme expert who was extremely far away could only watch as his countenance drastically changed. He wanted to flee, but under the envelopment of God's hand, there was no way for him to escape. This God's hand grabbed that supreme expert from the other side of the void. That supreme expert struggled madly, but God's hand directly transformed into a beam of destructive light, destroying him. The light screen dissipated as the scene disappeared. Qin Wenyan sighed in his heart. The strength of a supreme existence was simply too terrifying. This God's hand was simply too terrifying. That supreme figure was naturally none other than ancient Emperor Yi. Back then, when ancient Emperor Yi destroyed an enemy clan, he destroyed a powerful ancient clan with a few attacks. No matter how many years of foundation you have, no matter how many immortals you have, before a true supreme expert, you would still be unable to withstand a single strike. Prison Phoenix slowly spoke. Even if the Namhuang clan seems to be incomparably powerful, with boundless glory and deep foundations, if a supreme character that's close to the level of divinity appears, the Namhuang clan would still be destroyed. Senior, you are thinking too far ahead. Qin Wentian spoke. It's not that far. You are still young, and 10 million years might be too far away to you. But to me, to an ancient clan, 10,000 years is merely the blink of an eye. And in 10,000 years, how many geniuses would there be in the immortal realms? And in 100,000 years, how many new geniuses would there be? In the vast immortal realms, there would always be undercurrents surging in the dark, endless wars. Times of peace and times of chaos. It usually only requires a single stroke of luck. The old phoenix calmly spoke. She wasn't sighing with emotion, it was just that after living for countless years, she had seen too much and experienced too many chaotic eras. The things she saw naturally weren't something that a young man like Qin Wenyan, who wasn't even 100 years old, could compare to. Qin Wenyan nodded lightly. Indeed, how long has he lived? In the vast history of the immortal realms, he was basically insignificant, like a drop of water in the ocean. The things he had seen and heard were simply too little. It's just that he felt somewhat puzzled. He didn't know why the old phoenix of the Namhuang clan would tell him this. I know where Yi's ultimate art, God's hand, is at. The old phoenix spoke, her words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash as he stared at the old phoenix. As expected of an ancient existence that has lived for countless years, she even knew about this. Senior, please guide me. Qin Wenyan bowed, not being polite at all. Since the old phoenix spoke so much to him, it was clear that she had the intention of telling him. If not, why would she ask him to come here? You can stay in the southern Phoenix Immortal City for a period of time. Namhuang Yunshi needs to enter closed-door seclusion for a period of time, but it won't be too long. When she exits, she will naturally bring you there. The old phoenix spoke. Right, many thanks, Senior. Qin Wendian didn't say anything more. You can return first. The rest of you can leave as well. The old phoenix slowly spoke. Qin Wendian bowed and retreated. After he left, the eyes of the old phoenix turned to Nam Huang Yunshi. Have you decided to give up? Yes, old ancestor. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled and nodded. The old phoenix nodded. Sit down. Nam Huang Yunshi sat down cross-legged. A moment later, resplendent phoenix runic light flashed, enveloping her body. As for Qin Wendian, he returned to the ground. The gazes of everyone landed on him, feeling very curious about what Qin Wendian saw up there. Don't ask me. The matters regarding the ancestral lands of the Nam Huang clan shouldn't be divulged, right? Qin Wendian stared at Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Xinga as he smiled. Naturally. Nanfeng Xinga smiled. She didn't say anything. At this moment, a gust of wind gusted by, causing the leaves of the parasol tree to flutter. The space behind them vanished as the silhouettes of the others appeared. It's time for us to leave. Nanfeng Qingrua spoke. After that, the group of them returned to where they came from. Very swiftly, they regrouped with Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Shihua, and the other holy maidens. Nanfeng Aoshue's eyes were cold as she stared at everyone. She naturally noticed that one of the holy maidens was missing. It was none other than Nam Huang Yunshi. Yunshi obtained the inheritance? Nanfeng Yi's beautiful eyes turned to Nanfeng Xinga and Nanfeng Qingru. Although they were competitors, they were also sisters of the Nam Huang clan. Some of them had good relationships with others, while some had bad relationships with others. Nanfeng Xinga nodded lightly. Brother Qin has truly displayed his brilliance in the ancestral lands. Everyone glanced at Qin Wendian. Jun Mingchen and Purgatory also walked over. Jun Mingchen flashed a thumbs up at Qin Wendian as he laughed in a low voice. Senior Brother Qin, in the future, we will have another holy successor as our soulmate. Don't be serious. Qin Wendian glared at Jun Mingchen. Let's go out. Fine, that golden eagle still wants to fight against me. Jun Mingchen shot a provocative glance at Zhong Zhan, causing Zhong Zhan's eyes to gleam with sharpness. He also glanced at Qin Wendian. He didn't expect that he would be the one to emerge victorious. Protecting Nam Huang Yunshi was the last one standing. What a surprise. The group of them walked out of the ancestral lands. The elders of the Nam Huang clan were all here as well. When they saw everyone exiting the ancestral lands, they exchanged mutual glances and naturally knew the result. They didn't expect that Nam Huang Yunshi, who had a weaker cultivation base, would really be able to seize the position of holy successor. Everyone, you have all worked hard. A person spoke to the crowd. The Nam Huang clan has already prepared an immortal banquet. Everyone, please enjoy it before you leave. If you are willing to stay as a guest in my Nam Huang clan, you can stay for a few days. The Nam Huang clan will definitely treat you well. The eyes of everyone flickered with different lights, each having their own thoughts. The competition for the position of holy successor of the Nam Huang clan has finally concluded. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.